Wow. Welcome to the Scoop Order. Is that the worst loss in Ohio State history edition? It might be. 23-point favorites, loaded team. Michigan doesn't even have Colson Loveland, and we gack it up. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting show. We'll get your super chats going. Again, obviously it's gonna be a somber show, but it's season's not over. Not going to the Big Ten title game, so I don't have to worry about going to Indy next week. But we'll be in the playoffs. We might be hosting a game now, so who knows? I mean, I don't know where we're going to be seated, but we're not going to be 1. We're not going to be 5. So this will be this is shocking, guys. Again, I don't really have words. And again, I'm fine. Like it is what it is. Like I'm 4-0 versus Michigan, but this is stunning. But yeah, I mean, our said all week, you got to win the rushing battle. We lost that handily. We had 26 carries for 77 yards. So we were out toughed significantly by Michigan. They ran it 41 times for 173 yards. So we averaged about 3 yards a carry. They averaged about 4. Turnovers were pretty even. Of course, now that they're fighting after the game, this is going to be ugly. But yeah, this is ugly. Oh wow, 91's tackling a guy. Yeah, if you guys are watching this, there's a full blown brawl right now in the middle of the field. Wow, this is really ugly. Guys are gonna get suspended for this. I mean, Michigan, yeah, but Michigan's done. I mean, the season's over. They'll go to some bad bowl game, and our guys got to be careful because they might get suspended for a playoff game if they throw a punch. But there's cops in the middle of the field. But yeah, stunning. I don't really have words for this right now. Again, it's going to be tough on Ryan. I mean, Ryan Day this is the most loaded team, 23-point favorites at home. Yeah, it's going to be hard. I mean, this is going to be, I don't really know. I think that they're at the block out because Michigan, of course, is going to try to plant the flag again. So, our guys actually defended it this year, but yeah, this is shocking. Senior day, a lot of big seniors, loaded team. And, this is football, baby. Jack Sawyer's ripping the Michigan flag right now. They're trying to plant it. Jack Sawyer just ripped it, threw it on the ground. Good for you, Jack. So yeah, it's ugly. Yeah, I mean, there's guys fighting right now in the middle of the field. Like, I mean, cops got to get in there. I mean, I'm sure you guys are probably watching this live on TV, but this is I mean, there's guys with no helmets on. I mean, they got to get the cops. The cops are in there now, but this is crazy. So. Yeah, Nevadabuck is going to be walking back from the game, so we'll probably get him in about 40 minutes to an hour. I'm sure that there will be plenty of super chats and questions about this one, but this is as ugly can get right now. And they got to get these guys off the field. I mean, I don't know what the coaches are doing. I don't know if they're just taking a break, but yeah, I mean, these guys, they didn't get it done. I mean, and again, I thought our offensive game plan was the worst I've ever seen. And again, I don't try to just be armchair quarterback, but I was watching this and I said all week, don't run at 55, don't run it at 78, and they ran right at them and they smashed us. Our guys couldn't block those two. Like I said, when they have two guys that are first round type guys, don't run at them. But 55 whipped us. Tigra was bad again today. Our interior wasn't great, and Michigan. Like, I mean, I don't know what else Ryan needs at this point because you don't have Colson Loveland. He's out, so their best player on offense is out. Their corner's out. 23-point favorites at home, loaded team, and yeah, it's tough. I mean, this is in my opinion the worst loss in Ohio State history. And again, I was part of the Florida game, obviously, but that team had Urban Meyer. This Michigan team had not won a road game yet. So it's very interesting at this point. I don't know. There's not really anything positive you can glean other than that there is still the playoffs. So this will be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea why these coaches still have Ohio State's guys need to get off the field. Like, I mean, get off the field. Don't get suspended for a playoff game. Michigan's done. Like, this is the craziest thing about this game is Michigan, this is their first road win of the entire season. Think about that. They were 0-4, 0-5, whatever it was. And this is their first road game of the entire season. So this is stunning. And again, I know that the Michigan folk will be coming in here and they'll be having a high old time. But, we it's just interesting because none of them wanted to bet us. I mean, they didn't see this happening. They were shocked. And again, I played in the game in '04. You know, in 2004 we were at home and we were probably 10 or 14 point underdogs, and we weren't very good. We were 7-4, and I mean we were probably better than this Michigan team. But I mean these guys, I mean they didn't have Colson Loveland, they didn't have their cornerback, and they outplayed us, they out physicaled us. We made obviously the field goals loom large. Again, I don't know what our personnel people were doing in the offseason, but the kicker that won the Luke Rosa was at Miami of Ohio and entered the transfer portal. And you guys can go back and watch my show. I said the one guy that I would go after and I spent a lot of money on is having the best kicker in the country. And again, Jaden Felding, I'm sure he's a nice kid. This is not the place for him, because again, when the lights get bright, our kicking game kills us. And again, for the life of me, I know Michigan's guy had a chip shot, but he also hit a 56-yarder last week. So I'm spending as much money as I can to get the best kicker I can in the portal this year, because you can't lose the special teams battle to these guys, because it's just kills us. Like I said, we missed 2 chip shot field goals, and before you missed the first one, there was a guy at the stadium today. I was at the stadium. I left at halftime to get home and do the show. There was a guy that literally kicked like a 35-yard field goal. Like, he was using a tee, but 35-yard field goal, drained it, got a check for whatever the amount of money was. It was like one of the fan promos. So literally a guy came out of the stands and kicked a 35-yarder. And I thought the mechanics were fine. I mean, it wasn't like it was a bad. The second one, I think the snap was a little bit off. The first one was perfect mechanics, and just shanked it. So yeah, Michigan is celebrating in our stadium again, and I just don't I don't know. It's a strange brew at this point. There's not a lot to glean from this other than it's not the pain thing anymore. I mean, there's literally this senior class of Jack Sawyer, JT Sumalo, a bunch of kids that I care about and love, and I mean they're going to finish their career 0-4 versus Michigan, which is unfathomable given the run that we were on with Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer, that Ryan has dropped 4 in a row. Obviously we did the cheating for the last 3 years, and the get back was going to be real today, and the get back was real until it wasn't. So again, now the thing is, and I'm not trying to be Mr. Positivity, but I mean, we still do have the playoffs. Like, we still do have a shot. This isn't, in the olden days, when you were, this would have knocked us out of the Final Four, or would have knocked us out of the BCS when I played and being in the top 2. We're still going to get into the playoffs, and we still have a shot to do damage. I mean, we might even host a home playoff game now. So again, like, I know that everyone wants to cancel the season and it's over, but and again, this was, a bad time to play your worst game of the year. Like, I've lived it again. I lost the Florida Gator game in 2006, and we picked a bad time to have our worst game of the year. And that's what this was. And again, like, stunning, credit to Michigan. And Michigan was on brand. They ran the ball. They played tough defense. They turned it over. We both had a couple turnovers. I didn't think Michigan played great, but they played better than we did. So, and again, obviously the Jim Tressel formula for winning these games, for winning any game, but especially winning the Michigan game, is win the rushing battle, which again, the last 22 years going into this game, whoever won the rushing battle won the game. So right here, we literally have another 23 in a row. So they outrushed us, so they win. Turnovers were equal 2-2. And then special teams, and obviously we missed our 2 field goals. They make theirs, and it's the difference. So again, it's stunning. I thank God every day that I had Troy Smith at quarterback, and we were able to go 4-0. Together. I mean, I started 4 games and I beat Michigan 4 times. So I never had this feeling walking off the field losing to Michigan. I couldn't imagine it, frankly. I'm sure Ryan is going to have his head on the chopping block I talked to some major donors that aren't, they're like, you can't lose to Michigan again this year. And we're right back here. So, and again, this was like supposed to be easy mode this is a 6-5 Michigan team or whatever it is. And then they announced Colson Loveland's out too, on top of the cornerback being out. So, I mean, you get their 2 best players didn't even play today. And their quarterback's not good. So again, it's strange, but now we're heading back up there next year, and we gotta figure it out. And Ryan's gonna be a lot of heat on him after this one, because you can't spend that kind of money on the roster and then have everything break this way and get out coached by Sharon Moore again, which just happened. So I thought, again, the offensive game plan was as bad as I've seen. Again, I feel bad for the defense because the defense gave up 13 points, which should be enough to win this game. But our offense let us down today. They really did. Again, the running game, 26 for 77, and we didn't get on the edge. We ran in the A gap a lot, which I thought was insane given how talented they were. We did some up tempo stuff, and it was crazy. But yeah, like I said, I'm rolling right now. Nevada is he's going to get back to his place. We were at the game together today. Again, thought it was going to be a great day, but here we are. So again, we are. But again, I don't run from it. I'm here for you guys as always, and appreciate you guys being on here. So I'm going to get rolling through these super chats. I'm sure we'll eventually get to the film. If we don't do some film today, we'll get into it tomorrow. But the super chats are just kind of piling up right now, so I'm going to get rolling through these. But yeah, what a crazy day. Good God. All right, let's start it off with James Wood. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for being on here. Pathetic game. Yeah, I mean, there's no sugarcoating this one. Like Oregon on the road, last second, whatever. Like, I mean, that was Oregon's the number one team in the country. Like this game is, I don't have words. I mean, this is if this is not the worst loss in Ohio State history, it's in the top 3 or 4. Like, I mean, the 2015 Michigan State game was, I think, the leader in the clubhouse. Obviously, I played in the Florida game. But the Florida game, we were going against Urban Meyer, and the Florida Gators were, they had legitimate players on that team. This Michigan offense was so bad. It's just stupefying, and the fact that we lost to them at home is, hey, I mean, like I said, you got to get some mojo going back. Because again, we had everything back, and these guys came back to win this one. And I've been on kind of the Michigan side of it, where I've been like 07, we were counted out, 04, we were counted out, and we ended up winning because I think that's just what it took. So Michigan's gonna have a fun bus ride back to Ann Arbor, and it's because of Ryan Day, and this offensive coaching staff was atrocious. And again, we didn't go after the kicker that was in the portal, that was kicking at Miami of Ohio, that won the Lou Groza Award. He went to Alabama instead. So again, at some point, heads got to roll for that. I mean, I don't know if it's the personnel department. I don't know if they're on vacation. I don't know if they went fishing for the weekend, but at some point there's got to be answers as to why our kicking game keeps costing us. And Michigan somehow can find guys that can make 55-yarders, but we can't, which is crazy. No way, 87, thanks for the deuce. It's time to fire Ryan Day. Call it stupid, but I mean, the heat is going to be unbearable at this point, and I can't even imagine what's going on in Ryan's head, because again, this was given to him on a silver platter today. I mean, when they announced Colson Loveland was out, I was like, good God. I mean, it's weird when there's, the last time I felt like this was when we played Oregon and they didn't have Kayvon Thibodeau, who's their best player, who's the top 5 or 6 pick in the draft. And then they also didn't have Justin Flo, who's their best linebacker. And then they proceeded to just run all over us and beat us back in 21. So it was almost weird because like the cornerback doesn't play, who's a top 15 pick, top 10 pick, whatever. And then Colson Loveland, who's the best tight end in the country, he doesn't play. And they still figured out a way to do it. They had guys step up, and like I said, I knew that they were going to try to run the ball, shrink the game, make it as quick of a game as possible, and they did. So it, like I said, it was something else. So yeah, Spartan 1491, thank you for being on here. Should have made a play for that back here. I mean, you guys can go back and watch the show that I did when that kid hit the portal. Again, he was at Oxford. I mean, he was at Miami of Ohio, and he won the Groza Award. And I was like, that kid hit the portal. He's, hour and a half, 2 hours away from campus, and we didn't even reach out to him. We didn't do anything. Like, and then he ends up committing to Alabama. Now, again, obviously, Alabama stinks this year, but you'd think that if the guy that won the Lou Groza Award was in your state and he hit the portal and he's at a MAC school, and it, like, again, I know Jaden Felding's got 3 years of eligibility, but he's probably going to have to portal out of here after this. I mean, is he going to be able to recover? Like, he's going to be a meme for the rest of his life after this game. And, I'm not trying to be cruel to the kid, but that's just what this is. Like, when you miss two field goals inside of 35 yards, and you cost the team a victory, then it's tough. And again, I know you win as a team, lose as a team, but we didn't ask him to hit a 55-yarder. We asked him to hit a 35-yarder. I mean, you have to do that when you're in the Big Ten. Like, when you're a major college kicker, when you're at Ohio State, like, and again, I thank God that I had Mike Nugent. Even Josh Houston was good, even though he missed a kick versus Texas in '05. Ryan Pretorius, but I had kickers that could hit 50-yarders. Especially, you don't realize how great a kicker is until you play with Nuge, and Nuge was just nails. But it's killing us. Like, this kicking stuff is crazy, and it's something that Ryan has to get fixed. And again, like, with the transfer portal, and I mean this sincerely, there is no excuse to not have a great kicker, especially at Ohio State, where we've got great offense, and we like to kick field goals, whatever. So I don't know. Interesting day. TK, thank you for the 5. Ryan Day has to go. I mean, the heat is going to be absurd because all the other Michigan losses were bad. This is the worst one by far, just because of the talent gap that we have, how much better our players are. Again, their top 2 guys were out of the outs. So, I mean, that's just one of those things where I don't, like Colson Loveland, their tight end, had more receptions and more receiving yards than any than the rest of their receivers and the rest of their guys combined. So it was kind of stunning that when he went out, I was like, well, I don't even know who they're going to throw the ball to, but they had guys step up and make plays. And like I said, our offense was just wonky the whole game. I feel like I liked the tempo stuff. We went fast, and that was the best thing we did all day. And when we went away from it, it was stupid. But we kept trying to run at 55. And I just, 55 and 98, the 2 defensive tackles, or excuse me, 78, we can't block those guys. Not with Tegra. I mean, Tegra had another bad game. He's kind of holding us hostage. And I'm not going to blame it on Tegra. I'll watch the film tomorrow. But, I saw 55 beat him. He put him one-on-one with 55, and Tegra can't even touch him. So, again, that's coaching. It's scheme. I was worried about it. And, when a guy is better than anybody they have on the defense, you can't let that one guy, you can't let 55 beat you. So, yeah. Just a weird day. I'm telling you. Larry Daniels, thank you for the 5. 2 interceptions, 2 missed field goals. We beat ourselves. I'll let you make sense of it all. Number 5 playoff. I just don't know. I mean, I think that it depends on, obviously, Penn State is in all likelihood is now going to play Oregon in the Big Ten championship. They control their destiny, which we lost today. So, I don't think Penn State can beat Oregon. So Oregon will likely be the 1 seed. Penn State, if this is a close game, I imagine they could be the 5 seed. I don't know. But we're going to be in the playoffs. And again, like, would I be mad if we had to host a playoff game in the Horseshoe? Kind of no. I think it'll be awesome. And honestly, like, and this will sound crazy, and you guys will say, Kirk, you're an idiot, whatever. But, losing to Michigan, awful. Completely unacceptable, terrible. But if you have to recalibrate now, you don't have to play in the Big Ten title game, so you get healthy. Because I worry about Will, because I mean, I don't know. He looked concussed. He didn't play the worst game he's ever played, and but now you got a shot. You're really good shot. You're going to be hosting a home playoff game, because I can't imagine once they do the 4 main seeds that the conference championships. Obviously, we're not going to win that. We got to be one of the next 4. I mean, I'd imagine. I mean, we've got 2 losses, but I mean, we lost to Oregon and we lost the rivalry game. Now, again, the rivalry game was, Indiana everyone beat these guys except us. So, Texas smashed these guys, and I don't know. But again, like, it's college football and it's a rivalry game. Like, this is up there with the 1969 game where, we were loaded for bear and we went up to Michigan and they beat us with all of the super sophomores and everything. So I don't know. I mean, it's something where we gotta regroup. But again, like, I mean, as bad as this is, and this is a terrible day, and Ryan Day is going to have the wrath of God coming down on from our fan base, but we've got a shot to host a home playoff game, which I think will be amazing. And I think that depending on where we're at, I mean, if somehow we're at 5, which I don't think we'll be at 5 at this point, but if we're 6, 7, 8, like, let's go. I mean, again, we can't win the Big Ten anymore. That's out the door, obviously, unless Penn State loses. Which again, if they lose, whatever. And I don't even care at this point. But we have a shot to do something in the playoffs. So can we do it? Sure. I mean, you got to remember, going into this game today, we were the favorite per Vegas, not per Kirk, to be in the national to win the national championship. We were the favorites. So, we're going to be a value pick now. But again, no major injuries. I mean, Will got a little dinged up. We picked a bad time to play the worst game of the season. And again, I've lived this as a player. When we played the Florida Gators in 06, that was the worst game we played all year by far. We picked a terrible time to do it. We picked a bad time to have a terrible time. And again, a lot of it, I thought our game plan was terrible. And again, I'm not Mr. Armchair quarterback or Monday morning quarterback. But I said, don't run at 55, don't run at 78. We can't block those guys. Run around them, get out on the edge, make them irrelevant, which you could do. But we didn't. And honestly, I thought we had a lot of success throwing the ball. But then we just kind of we went away from it and got out of sync. But when we went no huddle and we were throwing it, we were moving the ball on these guys. I mean, their corners were terrible. But for some reason, we want to bang our head against the wall and try to prove a point and run in the A gap, and it just didn't work. It was not the strategy that I would have employed. Because again, I'm a realist. If I know that they've got 2 good players on their defense and they're both their D tackles, I'm not running in the A gap. But we kept doing it, and we kept getting stuffed, and we averaged, 3 yards, less than 3 yards a carry, about 3 yards a carry. So I don't know. Like I said, I've played a lot of football, and our backs, Quinshawn was 12 for 46, and Trey was 10 for 21. So that's as bad as it's a butt kicking up front. So it's not good. I mean, JJ was 5 for 35 with a touchdown. Emeka was 4 for 51. Carnell was 6 for 58. But just not what you'd expect production wise. I mean, we had 175 yards passing and 77 yards. So we had about 250 yards, which is, we've been averaging probably 500 and plus. So yeah, not optimal, but appreciate you, Larry, being on here. G Chima Life, thank you for the 5. Play calling was horrible. Need to reevaluate for next year. Absolutely horrendous loss. Yeah, well, like I said, there's no sugarcoating this. Again, you guys come here, you guys want the truth, and we're accused of being sunshine pumpers and whatever. But I can't believe I couldn't believe what I was watching in the first half, and I was like, surely they're going to go away from running at their best players. They're 2 guys that we can't block, and they didn't. And again, I don't know how bad off Will Howard was, but I mean, that hit he took was pretty rough. And again, I'm not making excuses for him. He went back out there and played. So, but he was off. The interceptions were bad. Gigantic issues. So, but again, we are going to likely host a playoff game now. So I'll be there. I'll be excited. I think hosting a playoff game in December in the Horseshoe is going to be amazing. So whoever we draw, our guys they gotta figure it out, because I didn't feel the energy or the fury or the anger or whatever. It seems like it's synthetic. It seems like it's just kind of made up, ginned up. I don't feel like an authentic anger when our guys play. I don't think that they've got enough guys that just really are, angry, mean dudes on the team. They're because not going back to back when I played, but when we were straight, wild animals, guys like Troy Smith and Santonio and Dante Whitner, and I got out there and it was wild. So again, it's I don't know. I mean, I don't know if our guys are edgy enough. And again, not being critical of the loss, I've said that all year. But I don't feel the toughness. I don't like saying that Michigan is a tougher program than us, but they were again today. in the last 3 years. So again, there's something needs to change. And again, I'm not trying to go down that road with Ryan. I mean, Ryan's gonna have. I mean, he's not gonna sleep for probably for the next month after this one, because this is the best team he's probably ever gonna have at Ohio State, and that's probably the worst Michigan team that we're gonna see, especially given the fact that Colson Loveland didn't play. So you're not gonna get a bigger talent gap than you had today. But he's got to figure it out, or he's got to go. He's got to go elsewhere. Joe, thanks for the deuce. No sunshine pumping. Who's the next coach for the Bucks? I really don't know. Again, Ryan's just got an extension, so I don't think he's gonna get fired. I wouldn't be surprised if he left and went elsewhere. But we still got a season to play. We still got the playoffs to go, and again, I'm not. This is not sunshine pumping. I really do not know who they would bring in next. Like, again, this isn't like there's Urban Meyer sitting out there, and this isn't like Jim Tressel loses to Wisconsin and, oh God, I'd love to have Urban Meyer as our next head coach, or so I don't know. But the drumbeats are going to be loud. The natives are not going to be happy. I know a lot of the big time donors, they say he can't lose to Michigan again this year. So, and again, like, this is one of the 3 or 4 worst losses in school history, in my opinion. Because you can't lose to a team like this. Like, you just can't. Not with the amount of talent that we have versus the lack of talent that they have, and their best player not playing. And so, I don't know. I mean, like I said, and honestly, in the chat, I want to hear from you guys. Who should the next coach be if they make a move on Orange? Again, I don't think they're going to. But again, at some point, you have to figure out this game. You don't get to just learn on the job and hope one day that you can beat these guys. You got to figure it out. And again, Ryan's not from Ohio. I'm sure that he tries to learn the game and know the game. And again, I'm not slighting this, but I mean, when you're from New Hampshire, I don't expect you to know the Ohio State Michigan game. I don't think the players know it, because again, most of these kids aren't from Ohio anymore. And if they are from Ohio, they grew up when it was like the golden age where we beat them every year. They didn't grow up in the 90s where, we got killed every year and it was tough. And it was, we lost to 95 and lost in 96. So, I always thought that helped us in the early 2000s. Like the guys that were like me, they grew up 12, 13, 14 years old, and we lost to Michigan every year. I think that it made us realize how much we should hate those guys and the type of fury you need to play with. So, and also I just think that it just meant a ton. Like, and again, I just don't know. I think that these guys walked into a fist fight today. I really do. I think that they thought it was going to be like a coronation and a butt kicking and 23-point favorites and whatever. And again, it's a lot like probably us with the Florida game in 2006. Similar stuff. Everyone thought it was going to be a coronation, walk in, win the national championship, beat Michigan, get our gold pants, blah, 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 on to Oregon, blah, blah, blah. And Michigan had other ideas, and like I said, we didn't play well. So again, that's a reflection of leadership. That's a reflection of Ryan Day. It's a reflection of the captains. And again, I love Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer played his heart out today. Trey Henderson and Mecca. But there's still some time left in the hourglass. Like, again, that's the thing that's amazing about this new playoff format, is that you're not dead now. You literally can still you can lose to Michigan and still potentially win a national championship, which would be a trump card. Now, I know that sounds crazy and everybody's going to jump off the boat at this point, but that's where we're at. Like I said, in the past 3 years when we had the 14 playoff, like, you lose this game and you're looking at the Rose Bowl or the Cotton Bowl or whatever bowl that isn't a part of the next. But we still just won a national title, which is crazy to say that out loud. But we picked a bad time to have a bad time today. So yeah, I don't know. It's a strange world at this point. Pedro's Lucerio, thanks for the deuce. Offense and our kicker failed the defense. Sad as can be. Yeah, I mean, our kicker killed us today. And again, I know you win as a team, you lose as a team, but when you're a scholarship kicker at Ohio State, you have to hit a 35-yard field goal. I mean, it's right down the middle, centered, and he pushed it. And again, feel bad for the kid, but like, he's going to be known for that for the rest of his life. It's like Noah Ruggles. He shanked that ball versus Georgia, and like I said, our kicking game is left us down for a long time, and I don't know how it went away from being such a strength under Jim Tressel to being such a weakness now. But I mean, we can't rely on it like we can. And again, whoever is at Michigan doing the recruiting, I would literally go hire that guy, because they had Jake Moody, he hits 55 yarders. This guy hits 55 yarders. Our guys can't hit 35 yarders, and we've got a better offense than Michigan. There's no reason. It was same weather conditions, so I just flabbergasted to say the least. But again, this is part of the gig. So, but yeah, I don't run from it. I mean, you guys are stacking up the super chat, so this is going to be a long show. But again, it's what you guys are here for. Again, and I appreciate you guys being on here with me. Rohan Vangal, what's up, brother? I hope you're good. Thanks for the deuce. Told y'all Fielding sucked, but what was Chip doing? Yeah, I mean, Jaden Fielding, I don't know how he survives. I mean, I think you have to go get a kicker in the portal, because you can't blow a season because the kicker isn't up to making field goals that he needs to make. I mean, he kicked them out of bounds earlier in the season. I mean, you got to get a guy who's mentally tough, because again, kicking is like 95% mental. It's probably 5% technique and physical and whatever, and then it's 95% mental. So I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. And Chip Kelly, like I don't know the game plan. And again, I'm the biggest Chip Kelly fan on earth, but I wish that they'd ask me. I said, guys, don't run at 55, not with Tigra. There's no way. 78, no way. Even Austin Seyerveld and Carson, like, again, players I like that got good potential, but like they can't block those two guys. There's no way. They're not strong enough, they're not tough enough, and they're young. So don't put those guys versus 2 first rounders. And when you can avoid them, again, it's really easy to avoid defensive tackles. Like, run to the edge, super simple. But yeah, they just I don't know. I was hoping they'd get out of it, and is what it is. Troop Dog, thanks for the deuce. Out coached by Fat Albert. Yeah, I mean, it's as stunning of a loss as I've ever seen. There's going to be a lot of calls for Ryan Day's job after this one. And so it's going to be, but here's like I said, this is the thing that's different. And again, this is not sunshine talking. This is a fact. Like, we literally can still win a national championship, which is insane. This is the first time in the history of Ohio State football that we literally can still win a national championship after losing to Michigan, which is crazy. And nobody's about that life right now, but you can still do it because of and again, we're probably going to host a playoff game now. So I don't know, bring the juice, see what we can do. Again, there's losing to Michigan is inexcusable. It's terrible. There's no words for it. Like I said, when I got done my senior year, after I'd started, you remember I started and beat Michigan 4 times, all 4 games, played well. It was a winning performance each time. Never gave up a sack. Never had a holding call. Really, really good running the ball. I can't imagine what this feeling's like. We got Nevadabuck coming in. Give me 1 second. All right. We have got Nevadabuck on the line. I believe that he is trying to funnel into here. Let me see if I can get him in. Nevada, are you with us? Can you hear us? Do not have him yet. Let me see if I can get him in here. It looks like he's still... there he is. Nevada, we could get your thoughts. We have 52 super chats. I'm through about 10 of them. Obviously, one of the worst losses in school history, easily. But at the same token, I was just talking about the fact that, and this is not sunshine pumping, this is a fact, likely going to get a home playoff game, and we still have a chance to win a national championship, which again, not sunshine pumping, but this has never happened in the history of this game where we've lost it and we actually can still do something. What are your thoughts on the game? He is frozen out right now, so I'll try to get him back in here. I apologize. Yeah, this reception down near campus is not great. Let me see if I can get him in here. I cannot get him in yet. Try one more time. Yeah, getting out coached by Fat Albert is not good. This is going to be a long off season for Ryan after that one. Mitchell Smith, thank you for the deuce. Felt this coming. Same story each time. Yeah, it just, the game felt off. The offense felt off early in the game. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if the guys matched the deal, the intensity, but Michigan was 23-point dogs. They came in here and they fought and played hard, and so it like I said, I don't know. Like I looked at it, it was minus 2,000 the money line, and went to like minus 4,000. It was crazy high. So if any of you guys have bet on Michigan as an emotional hedge, congratulations, because it's something crazy. Let me see if Nevada's text me trying to get him in here. Yeah, try to get him in. But yeah, it's crazy. A lot of Ryan Day hate right now. So it'll be a long off season for Ryan, that's for sure. Yeah. Riley McGee. Thank you for the deuce. Fleming, Chip, and Howard cost us that game. Yeah. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, I think you mean Fielding, Jaden Fielding, the kicker. Chip and Will Howard. Yeah, it's there just aren't really words for it at this point. I think people are gonna be fed up. Like this is gonna be a long off season. It's gonna be tough. A lot of these players, again, they had ambitions of beating Michigan, getting gold pants and senior day and whatever. But I mean, our offense is just atrocious today. I mean, it's as bad as I've seen. And with the amount of talent that we had, and Will Howard and Chip Kelly, it just wasn't right. It did not mesh, and it was shocking to watch, especially given how many of their guys were out. Again, this is stunning. John Howard, thank you for the 5. If you have a question, toss that in the chat. Appreciate you, my friend. Jason Kane. Let me see if I get Nevada in here again. All right, Nevada, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mr. Bar. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, so we are live, and we've got 56 super chats. I'm through about 20 of them, but your initial thoughts on the game? I mean, other than we're live.
Oh
right
God!
Now, so this is
oh God!
This is as bloody of a chat as we've had. So go ahead and give me your thoughts.
First of all, where do I start? I mean, Will was terrible. I mean, that was just he picked a really bad time to play a really bad game. Our field goal kicking, I don't have any words. Thought the defense manned up, played great, made big play after big play, tried to get us back in that game. Offensive line got their ass kicked trying to run the ball up front. I mean, obviously, you'd have to review the tape, and you probably had a better view from the watching the TV thing, but it looked like we were just not getting anything kind of going up front. And Ryan Day, whether it's Ryan Day, whether it's Chip Kelly, whether it's Ryan Day and Chip Kelly, whatever it was, I thought the play calling today was incredibly wonky, and I just never felt like we got into any kind of a rhythm. When you lose for the 4th time to Michigan in a row, as unthinkable as it is, I'm not calling for Ryan Day's head, but I think that's something that Ross Burks, I think that's got to be on the table now. I mean, you can't lose to this Michigan team. I mean, this Michigan team without Colson Loveland, without Will John. I mean, this was a bad team already, and then you lose to them. You let Sharon Moore outcoach you, which is great. You let Davis Warren beat you. I just I did not believe that there was a scenario where we'd be sitting here discussing this after this game. Losing to Oregon, hey, whatever. Losing to Michigan at home again, in this fashion. I said, I'm having a really difficult time processing it because it just seems kind of surreal. And, for Michigan, hey, they can talk all that trash they want because they went and did it. When you beat us 4 times in a row, twice in the horseshoe, you beat this is a great Ohio State team, and they throttled us certainly defensively. Offensively, they didn't do much. I don't know what the final stats were, but they didn't look like they did much. But defensively, they just completely shut us down. So um, I don't, you and I obviously haven't had a chance to to talk because I just got back to the stadium. Um, I mean, where are you on the Ryan Day thing? Are you on Ryan Day must go, should go, could go, might go? Where are you at on this one?
I don't know what he needs to beat Michigan because again, like I said, and obviously I've been going for whatever 40 minutes it's been. Yeah, we're at 40 minutes now. It's like they didn't have their best player on defense, their corner. They didn't have their best player on offense. Colson Loveland, like I said, the craziest thing of all time, he has more receptions and more receiving yards than every other guy on the team combined. So he was their entire throw game. Walk on quarterback. And we have, what Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer termed as the most talented team in Ohio State history. And we're healthy. So, obviously we lost our center, lost our left tackle, it's fine. But, I thought it was, if this isn't the worst loss in school history, it's got to be in the top 2 or 3. This could easily, if someone would argue this is the worst loss ever, the 15 Michigan State game where we had Ezekiel and JT, like that's up there with this one. But that Michigan State team made the playoffs. Our team, like this Michigan team, is going to go to like the Sun Bowl. This is the crazy stat that I didn't even realize until today is that this was literally Michigan's first road win of the entire season. And it came in the horseshoe versus a team that they were 23-point underdogs against. So, again, our guys walked into a fist fight. And again, I thought our defense played hard. Like I honestly don't know what else our defense could have done. Obviously, they ran for 170. And again, the rushing yardage thing, the last 23 years in a row, the team that rushed the ball the best, that had the most rushing yards, won the game 23-0. So there's something to that. But I thought our offensive play calling, probably the worst I've ever seen, when they have 2 first rounders and 55, who I said 55's number probably 200 times in the past 7 days. And I said, do not run at that guy. Not with Tigra, not with Austin Cyber, especially not with Tigra. Same with 78. And I'm going to watch the tape. I'm sure it'll be bloody. And we just consistently kept trying to run at those guys. And they consistently killed our guards. And it's like, those are the only 2 guys got to avoid on the defense. Just those guys. The ends are very average, especially for Michigan. And we just kept running at them. I liked when we went no huddle. I thought it was great. I don't know how dinged Will is from the concussion or whatever it was that he missed a couple plays from, but I don't know. Like, I thought the play calling was horrendous. As bad as I've ever seen. And again, we've had moments where you and I have talked about bad Ryan. But Ryan was the primary play caller before. Now this was Chip calling it. So it felt like Ryan was calling the plays again, and he panicked like he normally does. When he gets tired, he was tighter than a drum, man. And their D line beat the wheels off our guys up front. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm like you. I just, we had a great day, and this is one of those things where you just don't see it coming in a million years. Because again, we're 23-point favorites, and they announced that they're All-American, first round tight ends out. So I'm like, well, there's no way now, and here we are. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm on the fire Ryan Day thing, but I know a lot of people that are. This fan base is going to turn on him something horrific now, especially no Big Ten title game. A lot of people were looking forward to going to Indy and seeing Oregon again and revenging that loss, and that's out the door now. But like I said on the show, and again, this isn't sunshine pumping. This is just a fact. Like, there's a good chance we're going to host a home playoff game now, and then on top of that, you're also going to see we still have a chance to win a national championship. Because again, even with this loss today, we're still one of the most talented teams in the country. But it's still, to me, any team's game. We can still play with Oregon. Georgia looked terrible last night, so I don't know. Like, I mean, Texas is playing A&M today, so I don't know. Like, there's actually still stuff to play for. Which again, this not sunshine. It's just truth because with this new playoff format, like we're not dead. We're not going to the Cotton Bowl and playing Missouri. Like now we still have a chance to win it. What are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, there's a chance we're going to be having a home playoff game now. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's almost a virtual certainty that we host a playoff. We're not going to fall below 8. Not the way that teams are dropping and playing, and so no, we're going to get a home playoff game, and we're going to get our bye through the Big Ten. We get a week off, so we don't have to go to the Big Ten championship game. So for that standpoint, but I just don't know. I'm just having such a hard time. The last 3 years with Michigan, you really could look in each of the games. They kind of made sense. Even in the craziness of 2022, it made sense in the context of the Stallions thing, which is a thing for sure. There's no question about it. But this one just makes no. This one, I mean, Ryan, punting from the 38. Now I know we punted and we dropped the ball down at the 2, and that's good. That's good. But to me, it was just more we punted from the 38. We punted from the 38-yard line, and I don't know. I just, I don't want to blame Ryan for the bad play calling and give Chip the credit for the good play calling, but it definitely, I mean, whether it was Ryan or whether it was Chip, it doesn't matter. It was bad. It just the play calling was just, it didn't make any sense. It's like we'd get 7 yards on a play at the middle, and we'd be like, okay, we did that. Let's go right back to it. And it's like, no, that's the time when you don't go back to it and you play action fake into it and you roll out and throw something, a delay to your tight or do something, anything other than just. I felt like we were just kept trying to prove a point that we'd run straight at them, and we couldn't, and we just kept banging our head against the wall. And then when your kicker misses a couple of field goals and you keep them in the game and you let them, have a 10-minute drive. Yeah, I mean, so how many total yards did Michigan? Like I said, I'm going to go on a complete media blackout now, which is the worst thing about that. I'm not going to watch any more games. I don't want to hear a thing. But what you said, they had 173 yards on the ground. I don't think we got any sack yards. So I'm sure their rushing totals were pretty good.
Yeah, it was like 177 on the ground.
On how many attempts?
It was like 20 something.
No,
that was like 30 something.
no,
It was like, I don't know. It was like 4 something to carry. Hang on, I'm looking for it right now. But yeah, it was putrid. I mean, our ground game. Okay, so it was 42 carries, 172 yards. We were 26 carries for 77 yards. So
yeah, terrible.
And
how many yards passing? How many yards passing did they have?
They had 62 yards passing.
So they had less than 250 yards offense. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Less than 250 yards. I mean, this might be another. I mean, it's close. I mean, I think we slightly outgained them, but it doesn't matter. Whatever.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, we're up to 74 super chats, so this is gonna be a long night. But appreciate you guys being on here. Michael C. For 10. we sure could have used the kicker from Miami, Ohio in the portal. We should have gotten him. I that was the first thing I said. Is I was like, we did an entire show on a kicker, which I'll probably never do again. But I was like, the kicker from Miami of Ohio, who won the Gross Award for the best kicker in the entire country, entered the portal, and our gurus at the Woody Hayes sat on their hands, let him go to Alabama. And so, like, I don't know. He's from 2 hours away. And again, I know that they must love Jaden Felding, but he's constantly killed us today. I mean, the craziest thing is we had a fan on the field kick a 35-yard field goal to win a prize. He's in a jersey, and he aced it right down the middle. And then literally 10 minutes later in real time, we have Jaden Felding come out there and push one, and then he pushes them. I mean, I don't know. Like Nevada, like, to me, the kicking thing is one of the great mysteries of all time to me, especially in the era of the transfer portal, where you can literally watch kickers across the country at every school, and pay them to come here because our kicking has been terrible for years. Like we haven't put a kicker in the NFL since I don't even know who. I mean, obviously Nugent. I mean, I think Aaron Petrie might have kicked in a couple games in the league, but I don't know. Michigan finds kickers. So like I said, whoever Michigan has that's recruiting kickers, I want to steal them because they got Jake Moody at the 49ers 55-yarder. This guy can hit 55-yarders. We can't hit 30-yard field goals at Ohio State. And again, like not blaming it all on Jaden Fielding, but dude, that's your job. Like, I mean, my job's to pass block. Yours is to make 35-yard field goals. It's not like it was some 65-yard bomb. So I mean, we missed 2 chip shots, and that's going to be on his tombstone. Doc Rob, thanks for the 5. I was a staunch Ryan Day supporter until today. We did more for Michigan recruiting day than they have in the last 2 years. # bring Urban back. Yeah, I mean, if Urban had this NIL budget and this team, he'd probably get this thing a little more gassed up because Urban got the rivalry. Like, I'm not trying to pile in on Ryan, but, when you're from, New Hampshire, like, I don't know if you know it like Urban did. I mean, Urban's from Ashtabula and Truss is from Ohio. I don't know. Well, like I said, I don't know anything about any sort of whoever New Hampshire's rival is, if it's Vermont or whatever other little small state. Like, I don't know who they play. And if I was their head coach, I'd have to learn it. So I feel like that's like something Ryan has tried to learn it. He's tried to be authentic with it, but I don't know. Ohio State fan, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Hope you're doing good. I get that we're going to get into the playoffs, but stop trying to see the upside here. This is an unmitigated. No, this is great. And where's Nevada hiding? Well, Nevada was walking, freezing his butt off from the stadium to his house. So he was. I promise you, he was not hiding.
Come on,
trust me. Like if we were gonna hide, I wouldn't be on here right now with 80 super chats to answer. But like again, we went to the game. I went to the first half, left, came home, got the show set up, and Nevada had to walk through the frozen tundra of Columbus, of the frozen tears of Columbus. So it's just guys, we don't hide. We never hide. We're on here. We're on here. We did the Oregon show. The Oregon show was 4 hours long.
Come on. Nevada hiding. Like, come on, guys. Like, dude, like I have to get from the stadium to the thing. It's like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah. And plus, like, we'll be on the message board tonight. That'll be a blast, I'm sure. So, yeah. Eric Muller, thanks for the 20. Appreciate you, my friend. As a 90s kid, this pain feels similar again. Day doesn't win the Natty. Is he done? What do you think the difference has been since Day has taken over with his players, minus Gunnar Steins? I don't know if we have enough true badass players on our team. And I don't swear. You guys know I don't swear on the show, but like I don't know. I think we have a lot of fake tough guys on the team. A lot of guys like to talk tough, but are they legitimately tough? I don't know. I mean, Michigan was tougher than us up front today. They were for sure. Both sides of the ball. But I thought our defense played tough. I mean, we had some bad, Denzel took a bad penalty like always. And I mean, it was literally against a team that could not throw the ball at all. They threw for 60 yards today and we lost. So I don't have words. But when you get out rushed, they out physical us. Again, their game plan was exactly what I thought it would be. They were going to run the ball as much as possible, make the game as short as possible, keep JJ and Emeka and those guys sitting on the bench, freezing, and when they got out there, they were just okay. But that's the game, And again, I don't know. Like I said, karma's real. So hopefully, the people inside the Woody Hayes figure that out because some of those guys got to start living better. Mark Bundy, thanks for the deuce. Appreciate you, my friend. Offensive play calling, dropped a deuce again. Yeah, Nevada. I don't know when I've seen worse play calling. Like, and again, like we diagram everything. We always like to watch film, and we'll probably break the film down tomorrow because we have so many super chats. And I like to get to bed before midnight, but I don't know. It's tough. Glenn Jackson, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Unranked at home, 4th year in a row. Defense gave up effectively 3 points. Days and offensive mind. Nah, time for him to go. I mean, I'm with you guys. I mean, like again, I don't know what Ryan possibly needs at this point because again, they're unranked. Michigan did not have a road win the entire season, not one. And they came into the Horseshoe versus, we're like, what are we, 3 in the country? and yeah, they got it done. Again, it's. I mean, I don't like Michigan. I absolutely hate Michigan. But give them credit. I mean, I hate Michigan as much as God hates Satan. But at the same token, like they figured out a way to get it done without their two best players and with a walk-on quarterback and with like their talent level versus ours is it's a gigantic chasm. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen I don't know if I've seen a bigger talent discrepancy ever in an Ohio State Michigan game, and they figured out a way to get it done. So it is what it is. Nevada. Glenn Jackson says, unranked at home, fourth year in a row, defensive, because again, the defense effectively gave up 3 points. I mean, Will Hire threw that pick, got ran down to the 2-yard line or whatever. So, I mean, you can blame that on the defense when they run it in, but it's hard. Day and offensive line, time for him to go. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I mean, it's I always say you are what your record says you are, and 4 losses in a row to Michigan. I think you're right. I think now it really is a natty or bust type of scenario for Day. Day's got to run the table through the. You got to run 4 games through the college football playoff to win. Is that impossible? No. Is it unlikely? Yes. Is this the worst loss in Ohio State history? I think it is. I mean, I think it is. I think it's the worst loss, and I don't know. Imagine one that could be worse, given the disparity between the two teams, the importance of the game. This wasn't Purdue or Iowa or even Michigan State. This was the game, and they're playing without their best players, and they come in like with nothing for you, and you manage to lose. And you can say, well, I wish Carnell Tate had not dropped that ball, or was it none of that. You lost to Michigan. So yeah, I think it's like I said, I I have been the staunchest Ryan Day supporter in the world, but I don't know. You can't lose 4 times in a row to Michigan, and you can't lose with this team to that team. Um, I I always say I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm not advocating for some bad things to happen to Ryan or blow up the program, but I just don't know where you go now with him. Do I think that'll have an impact on the staff? Yes. Do I think that'll have an impact on recruiting? Yeah. I mean, none of this is good. So we always tell you guys, we're not sunshine pumpers. We're weather reporters. We'll tell you when the weather's good. We'll tell you this is bad. I mean, it's bad, and is it insurmountable? Can we not get? No, of course. This too will pass. But are we in the midst of a storm right now? Without a single doubt. We are, and I'm not sure where to go with this, because I really thought that him giving up the play calling and getting a guy like Chip Kelly in there, having an adult like it didn't. And I when you're the head coach, you get the bows, but you also get the arrows when it goes bad, and it does.
I'll get him back in here. Florida 561 Stepper, thank you for the deuce. Fire Ryan, he's taking money or something. Yeah, I think this is the hottest seat he's ever been on. I mean, this is the hottest seat that Ryan Day has ever been on, I think. And again, this is a 6-5 Michigan team that didn't even have Colson Loveland, didn't have the corner. Like I mean, I just. I mean, like I said, this is easily the worst Ohio State Michigan loss. This is like the 69 loss, but I I don't know. I mean, because the 68 game, we smashed Michigan, then we go up to Ann Arbor, and Bo Schembechler famously beats us, and 69 is probably Woody Hayes' best team, and they lose to Michigan up there. But this is Ryan Day's most talented team by far, and Michigan just smashed us. Which again, that's Don't really have words for it. It's really, really tough to kind of get through. Buckeye 91, thanks for the 5. I am done. Don't want to hear about what we will do with the Fire Day. He's Cooper 2.0, where he's getting a lot of John Cooper now, boy. Yeah, it's gonna be tough sledding for Ryan going forward. Tom, thanks for the Tommy Tom 10. Thanks for the dudes. Don't sunshine pump. Be honest, this was bad. I mean, guys, we never sunshine pump. We're the most fair and accurate Ohio State podcast that exists, which is why we have the highest ratings. And it's, I don't know. There's no sunshine pumping here. Again, you guys are getting the honest thing. I thought it's the worst loss. If it's not the worst loss in Ohio State history, it's in the top 3. Easily. Ian Bates, thanks for the 5. Ryan Day is a severe overthinker and does everything the hardest way. Why is he on a constant quest to prove how tough we are as a team? Was tight, played not to lose. Nevada, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a something. I think it's a something. And again, and I do want to address the previous guys. Like, we're just telling you, in my opinion, this is the worst loss. Not the worst Michigan loss, the worst loss in Michigan. So I'm not sure how that sunshine pumping right now. There's not a lot of sunshine right now. I think we're all trying to figure out where to go and what to make of this. But no, it's bad. And with Ryan, it's a something. You can feel it. It happens. I've always felt that he's got this insecurity about toughness, and I think he does try to keep trying to prove how tough he is, and the more he tries to prove how tough he is, I think it leads him to do things that are out of character, that are out of the team's best interests. And I thought today was kind of a classic example. I thought, look, I know you want to win the rushing battle, and I know that's an important metric in terms of winning the game, but we were just not we certainly weren't going to be running the ball straight ahead at those guys. And, if you're not doing that, if Will's not making good decisions on the zone read, then let's throw the ball, or let's at least keep them guessing where we're going with it. And, I thought we were way too predictable, and I think it really cost us.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, there's ways to run the ball that aren't running it in the A gap versus the 2 best players on our team. Like, that's the whole thing. Is I was like, why aren't we getting to the edge? Where's the orbit motion sweep to Emeka? Can we run a jet sweep to JJ? Can we do anything like that to get those guys out on the edge? Like, again, I wouldn't have ran in the A gap a single time today, but we probably did it 20 times, 25 times. Again, I was driving for a little bit, but it just didn't work. And again, I said it wasn't like it was some mystery that those guys were good, and that and frankly our interior guys weren't good. Not today, anyways. I mean, Carson and Austin have been playing well, but Tigra's been the worst player on the offense all year. And then you put him against 55, and I mean 55 was destroying him today. So you got to protect him. Tell me, Tom, thanks for this. You and Nevada got your wish bye week next week. I mean, it wasn't my wish to lose to Michigan. I know that, but see what these guys can do. Again, they're not dead, which is crazy. I mean, they actually have a chance. I mean, this is the first time in Ohio State history that we've lost to Michigan and we could actually still win a national title, which, again, going into the game today, we were the Vegas favorites, not the Kirk and Nevada favorites, the Vegas, the people who like to make money gambling off of you. They picked us to win the national championship. And again, before today, we were 3-point favorites in a futures game versus Oregon next week, which obviously isn't going to happen. So I don't know. It's unfortunate and it's terrible. Like I said, we didn't have any idea this was going to happen. It sours our whole lives because after this we get to go moderate a message board that's probably burning down right now. So it is what it is. Robert Russell, thanks for the 10. I know you guys like Will Howard, but he was not good at all this game. Had we got Cam Ward, we win this game easy. They didn't challenge them down the field at one time. I mean, yeah, we're fans of Will Howard, but I mean, guys have horrific games, and he was terrible today. So again, that's not sunshine. Like, go watch Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl he played against the Seattle Seahawks. He was awful, terrible, the worst player on the field. So again, it's one of those days. And again, I thought our play calling was bad. I didn't think Michigan did anything crazy. It wasn't like they ran some crazy exotic scheme. I mean, they just whipped us, and I don't know. Like I said, it's tough. Like, I mean, I like Will Howard. I think he's a great player, and he just had a terrible game. He took that shot to the head, and I thought he was done because the trainers were holding his helmet, and I was like, "Are they taking it from him?" It looked like they were, and he ran up and down the sideline. Place got all excited, but the production just wasn't really there. Kaden, thanks for the 5. I just feel numb, no words. I'm gonna watch the playoff games, but won't be expecting much. Well, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, this is shocking to say the least, but we're here. Nevada, any thoughts? Like I said, I mean, we're gonna have a home playoff game now, which again, it's gonna be weird because we're like backing into it, but I'll be there. I think it'll be fun. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, it's a brave new world. This 12-team playoff. To lose to Michigan. I mean, it's the worst loss in school history,
Yeah.
and to still be in the playoff, it's hard to process that right now. I'm sure that maybe after next week, after we get an opponent, maybe I'll get a little bit more jazzed up about it. But right now, it sure feels hollow, and yeah, I just I feel bad for the kids because I know these are good kids. I know these kids try hard. That defense played their arse off today. They brought it. I mean, obviously they didn't do enough, but they did their part. Now, offensively, we picked a bad time to have a terrible game, and Will was terrible. And was Cam Ward the answer? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, the thing is, from being at the game, watching what Michigan was doing, Michigan was taking away all the deep stuff. Their guys were bailing, so they were taking away all the deep stuff. They were not going to allow JJ and those guys to take the top off of them. And when that happens, you've got to go to the middle of the field. When on that cover 2, on that Tampa 2, you've got to hurt them in the middle between the linebackers. That's the stuff that you've got to take. And we didn't do that enough. But the deep stuff, I'm just telling you from being at the game, the deep stuff. It wasn't like we had guys running open deep that Cam Ward could have thrown to. They just weren't there. So you've got to have an answer that you got to find an answer for that. And we just did not. We didn't call plays well, and we didn't execute plays well, and the result was what we all saw today.
Yeah, Joe, thanks for the 5. It says we can't fire Ryan Day. The team will implode in the portal. So what is next? We have to make the championship. Yeah, I don't. That's the hard part. Is someone asked earlier in Nevada, is like, who? All right, Kirk, who are you picking as the next head coach? And I was like, I don't know. Like, if there was some guy out there right now who I said, this is the guy, this is the Urban Meyer to take Jim Tressel's job. Like that guy, I don't know who that is. There isn't some hot young commodity where I'm just like, that guy would be a great coach at Ohio State. Again, Alabama hired the coach of the year last year, Kalen DeBoer, and disaster, and the whole world wants him fired. So that's the hard part. It's like with the portal, a lot of these guys came here to play for Ryan Day and Brian Hartline, and then this offense. And so if you gas them, like, you're gonna have a whole new team next year, and you better have somebody who's big time in there to reel those guys back in. And Donald Kidron, thanks for the 20. And thank you for being an Ultra member as well. Ryan Day is horrible and needs to go. There's no defending this clown anymore. I do not want to hear who do we get to replace him. I don't even care about the playoffs. Fire this fool now. Excuse me. Where is it full? Sorry, my contact fell out. I got to get a new one in. Like, seriously, I had to take my contacts out because I was so irritated. But literally, I just, like I said, again, you guys tell me. Put it in the chat. Who do you want as the next coach at Ohio State? I don't know. Nevada, I'll ask you because, like, I don't know. And again, it's not a cop out. I just genuinely, like, Mike Vrabel? Is it Fickle? Is it Lincoln Riley? I tell me, Nevada, any thoughts?
Kurt Sigeti.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Sigeti, he'll be the national coach of the year this year, I'm sure. I mean, Penn State loses, he'll be playing against Oregon in the Big Ten championship, have a home game. So I don't know. Is there anybody you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to really look. I'm sure that there's some, good young coach, but there's no obvious choice. There's no Urban Meyer type of guy that's out there, and yeah. So it's, but again, is Ryan Day irreplaceable? No. If Ryan Day went on to the pros, or Ryan Day quit, or Ryan Day gets fired, we'll have to go find a coach. I just don't know who that is right now. And that's what makes the whole thing so perplexing, because I just don't know, given the tenor, and because I know the tenor of the the Ohio State donors and board of trustees and administration, and losing to Michigan this year was unacceptable. Losing to Michigan,
Wow.
as bad as Michigan is, just I don't know how you survive that. And
Oh,
and from my standpoint, as being somebody who's been just a wild advocate for Ryan, I don't know how you can advocate for him right now to continue on. And that's not being reactionary. That's not being. I'm not in a let's just fire Ryan and blow up the whole thing. But like 4 times in a row, with losing to them with this team, against a team completely hobbled by injury and opting out and all. I mean, you cannot lose to that team, and Ryan found a way to do it. And that's I don't think he makes it. I personally, I think I don't think it'll happen today or tomorrow or next week or something like that. But I do not believe he can survive this. I really don't.
yeah, I mean, I think he's probably gonna be looking for an NFL job pretty quick because, like I said, it's just like this team with the lack of offense and no throwing game and all new offensive line and walk on quarterback and new head coach. It's insanity to me. Like I've never seen anything like it. Like I said, this is the worst loss in school history, and it might. I mean, the more I look at it, it might not even be close. I mean, they're 6-5. They didn't. I mean, they didn't win a game on the road this entire season until today. They lost to Indiana. I mean, come on, blown out by Texas at home. Like, I don't know. Jimmy Craig, thanks for the 5. I'm drunk. That's gonna be, but dude, WTF. That's not fielding this. Ryan Day, Chip, and Will Hard. They ran at 55 and 78 all day. Jesus Christ. I said it. I mean, maybe they should listen to our show, Nevada, because I only said 55's number like 6,000 times. Like, do not run at that guy. We can't block him. Ran right at him, and we didn't block him. So it was painful for me, man. I'm telling you. Like, if I'm in that booth, like I said, if I'm sitting next to Chip Kelly, I'm saying, do not run at that guy. We can't handle him. I said that to Tom Herman when Purdue had Kewan Short, who was a second rounder, really good player. We couldn't block him, and I said, do not run at that guy. We're all gonna get fired. You guys, well, especially you guys, because I'm gone. I'm a GA. You guys get fired. Nick Ma, thanks, 71, thanks for the 5. We told you it doesn't mean we don't love you, Nevada or Ohio State. We told you it doesn't mean we don't love you, Nevada or Ohio State. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I guess you told us. I don't know what you told us. I hope you bet on it. If all these people that are telling us that Michigan was going to win today, I hope you guys bet a lot of money, because you could have made a fortune if you just bet Michigan today before the game started. John Howland, thanks for the deuce. Appreciate you, my man. Can't we just pay Urban $10 million? He'd probably need about 20 to come back, but I don't know. Not the craziest thing I've ever heard, because if you had Urban Meyer with NIL, it'd be the end of days. It'd be game over. But that's my opinion. I would kill to have Urban Meyer as our head coach, but I just don't think he's coming back for it, because he's this NIL portal. Like, I think he would be exceptionally dangerous with this, but I don't think he's coming back to coach. So kind of a moot point. Nevada, your thoughts? Can't we just pay Urban $10 million? Probably need about 20 to get Urban, but whatever.
I mean, I don't think that's the craziest thing that's ever been said. Do I think that's going to happen? No, but I know Urban loves Ohio State. I know Urban hates how he left Ohio State. I know Urban hates how he left coaching. So, does he have the competitive juices in him one more time to kind of do it? I mean, I don't think it's the crazy. I mean, I would have considered that to be like a 0% or a month ago or 2 months ago. But given what's happened and 4 losses in a row to Michigan, and knowing how competitive Meyer is, I don't think it's. I think it's. I still think it's a remote chance, but I don't think it's. I think it's greater than 0. Let's put it that way.
Well, I mean, he's got a good job. He's 7-0 against Michigan, but like his. And by the way, like I'm rewatching the game right now. that ball that was down in front of us in the suite, that was absolutely a trap, and they didn't review it. Where he caught it between. I mean, I'm watching. It was at the very end of the first quarter. It was a trap. I said it was a trap.
I don't know. How do they not review that?
I have no idea. Like, it literally, the guy's arms were like this, and it went right between his arms, and his stomach hit the ground. But it's a clear trap. But again, like, at Ohio State, and I've said this, we have the worst replay. I mean, this is the most obvious trap I've ever seen in my life. And again, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm out at the midfield screaming at these guys that this has to be reviewed. Again, if you had, like our stadium sucks, and I mean this sincerely, because we never show replays ever. We show Nationwide insurance logos and all our stupid sponsors. But like, this guy traps the ball. I'm rewatching. It's the last play of the first quarter. And I said it. I was sitting, with Nevada and his family. And it's like, he trapped that. There's no way he caught that. He doesn't even think he caught it. I mean, he can't believe that they actually gave him it. But they showed the replay on Fox. And, the ball is like right at his gut. And he's got his arms out wide. And it bounces off the ground. Like, how on earth did they not catch this? Like, I mean, it literally, the ball is like between his elbows rubbing on the ground. And like, so again, like with the 750 coaches that we have on the staff and analysts and all these other people that are worthless at Ohio State, one of them has to monitor to that and say, hey, we need to review that. Again, call timeout. I mean, there's gotta be some sort of a method. And maybe you can say, Kirk, there's not a rule for that or whatever. But that was a huge play. I mean, that got him down to 4th and 1 and whatever. I don't know. But like, it doesn't matter now. I mean, but it's just like, I was screaming. I was like, you got to review that, the trap. And they never reviewed it. And they gave him the catch, which was crazy. Chris Slusher, thanks for the 10. Mike Vrabel is the next OSU coach. I love Vrabes. I know that we'd be a tougher team with Mike Vrabel, but I don't know if I mean, he just got fired at Tennessee and he's probably looking around at NFL jobs. He'll probably get a good NFL job. I don't think that he wants to deal with recruiting in NIL. But who knows? Like I said, it's Ohio State's always gonna be an S tier job, top tier job. So we'll see on that. Troop Dog thanks for the 5. I don't care what anyone says. Our lack of O-line development, recruiting, and depth is our Achilles heel. Well, I mean, we've had a terrible year injury-wise. Losing 2 All-Americans on your O-line kills you. Making Donnie play out of position, and we got 3 young guys on the interior that went against their 2 seniors or their 2 veteran guys that are really good. So not good. But I don't know. Like, I mean, if you give me any team in America and you say, okay, take their 2 best guys off the O-line, it's probably not going to look great. Take off 2 All-Americans, it's really not going to look great, but I don't know. Tommy Tom next to the 5. Don't ever be excited after Michigan lost. Don't Sunshine Pop. Our season should be over. I mean, but it's not. That's the problem. It's like, these guys got to, get ready to go for the playoffs. Because again, we're in the playoffs. Like, it's done. And we're not going to play until we see whoever we see in the horseshoe. So I'll be there. I'll be excited. Again, there was like this remote shot of, if we lose the Big Ten championship, we're going to host a playoff game. Well, now we're actually going to host a playoff game. We're probably going to be 6 or 7 in the playoff ratings, I'd guess. Whatever. And, we might see Oregon in the second round. I don't know. I mean, again, this is a new world because nobody in the universe predicted us to lose this game. And I'd love to see the people that place their bets. And like, I'd love to see how many people put a sizable bet on Michigan to win this game today. Because, I mean, we couldn't find anybody to take action, any of the Michigan guys or Yoder or any of those guys. So it's crazy. Eric Muller, thanks for the 5. What is the one change you would make if you're coach to bring this game closer again? That is a great question. I think our offensive line needs to play tougher. Our guys, and again, I love nice kids, very nice kids, but we play with no edge, no anger. And I'm not trying to be that old guy, but it's like I've said it all the time. Like, we got physically beat by them up front this year. I mean, I didn't see that happening at all, but it happened. Especially our offensive line, our interior. We've got a lot of nice kids, and sometimes you need some guys that have rap sheets to get out there and mix it up a little bit. So, and again, I don't know, but I don't feel our physicality on offense. I know we've got amazing skill and all the other stuff, but I don't think that we really inflict violence on people. Michigan did that to us today, for sure, but I don't see that on our line. So I would, I would recruit more Andrew Norwell types and less of the 4-star kids from Georgia types or Texas or whatever. Like, I mean, you got to get some Norwells in there, some tough guys, legit tough guys. Not like again. The problem with us is we've got a lot of fake tough guys on this team. We don't have a lot of real, like Jack Sawyer's legit tough guy, Cody Simon's legit tough guy, but we have a lot of fake tough guys that are on this team, and it's not great. Gabe Gaines, thank you for the deuce. How much to get you back on the sidelines, Kirk? Well, it's probably not gonna ever happen. But again, I just there's so many little things that they could fix that aren't they're not hard major technical things, but we never put guys on the ground on offense on the O line. Like we don't finish guys. We definitely don't help in pass protection. It drives me crazy. But I mean, like I mean, these guys gotta like I don't want to be stupid, but like they gotta understand the rivalry. Like they walked into a fist fight today and they got knocked out. Period. They didn't understand that Michigan wasn't going to show up and just roll over. And again, I think that these kids are very gullible, and I think that people told them that it was going to be easy and it was going to be. And again, it's not everybody. Like again, our defense, I thought was magnificent. I mean, how many goal line stands does our defense have to get you? I mean, how many times does Jack Story have to drop and pick a pass off? And I mean, God, we stopped them on 4th and 1 from the 3-yard line of the first play of the second quarter. Like, I don't know what else they need to do. So I feel terrible for the defense because I thought, if you give up 13 points, you should win like 99% of your games. You should win all of your games. But the offense let us down today, and the kicker was a huge reason why. And again, you got to go find a new kicker in the portal. And nice to know you, Jaden Felding. Nothing personal at all. I don't care. He can go kick it. He can go join the kid that went to Vanderbilt and have a nice career, but you can't miss those kicks, not in this game, because that's what you're going to be known for now. I mean, you go to anywhere in Columbus and you're the guy that lost the game because you missed 2 30-yard field goals. And again, could be me being mean. Like if I gave up a sack fumble versus Michigan and they ran it in the end zone and scored a touchdown and that's what lost us the game, then you can say, Kirk, you lost us the game. But I didn't do that. I didn't give up any sacks against Michigan. No penalties, clean sheet every time, baby. Schaefer Healthcare, thanks for the 10. Barring a natty run, which is unlikely, Day has to go. Pretty sure he's lost his team now anyway, so he'll be one and done. Vrabel, Urban, or Hartline. I mean, Urban by far would be the best choice. I mean, Brian Hartline's not ready to coach. He wasn't even ready to be a coordinator last year, so they demoted him and put him back at receivers coach and hired Chip Kelly. They didn't make him the play caller. And Vrabes is the guy who's out there, but I just don't know if he's I don't know if he's it. I mean, he could be. Like I said, I mean, the hardest part is if you put a gun to my head and said, Kirk, what would you want in a head coach? Like I would prefer him to be an offensive guy because, you're going to lose your coordinator a lot. And Mike Vrabel lost his guy went to Nevada's Packers and, he's their head coach now, LaFleur. But that was Vrabel's first offensive coordinator. And so when you have a good team with a good offensive coordinator, like, there's like a 99.9% chance that guy's going to get offered a head coaching job pretty quick. So, if you want to have some sort of stability, I think it's easier to have stability when you have an offensive play calling head coach. Because like if Chip Kelly was some hot commodity and all of a sudden he got jacked, well then Ryan could always go back to calling the plays. So you have continuity there. Like defensive coordinators aren't as in vogue as they used to be. So most schools want to hire offensive coaches to run the show. So just my opinion. Nevada, your thoughts? Vrabel, Hartline, or Urban Meyer as next head coach?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Urban Meyer would be the guy. No, but back to the earlier question about what would you do differently? I mean, sometimes as you mentioned, the answers are right in front of you. It's like, and this has been a small but underrated point now for a big part of this run against Michigan. You got to have a field goal kicker. You got to have a field. Their guy made a 54-yarder today, and our guy missed 2 relative chip shots, and that's the difference in the game. So sometimes you don't have to overthink this, and I think for us that same thing that happened last year against Michigan. Their guy made a couple of field goals, including a 50-yard bomb. We missed one right before that. I mean, how many times does that have to happen where you're like, guys, we have to find a reliable field goal kicker. And as you mentioned, with the portal and the ability of being able to evaluate veteran kickers that have done it and done it in college and large sample sizes, I mean get a better kicker. So you asked me what's the one thing I did to get a better kicker that can kick the ball. I mean, I look at I'm a Packers fan, and they did the hard thing. They got rid of their Carlson and they got Brandon McManus, and Brandon McManus makes everything. And you know what? It changes everything for the
Right.
Packers when you have a dependable kicker. And we do not have a dependable kicker. Is that the sole reason we lost? Absolutely not. But is that, you talk about one thing you can do to make a difference? Get a better kicker.
Yeah, I mean that's so easy to do because again, this is a transfer. It's not like you have to take a kid from high school and project him. Like you can go get a kid like in beginning of December when the portal opens and say, "Hey, you're our new kicker." You know, I don't, I don't know, but and again, we had the Lou Gross Award winner in Ohio like this past offseason, and we didn't call him, we didn't lift a finger, we didn't do anything, no NIL, and he went to Bama, and again, so I just. Like again, I don't know like, if our guys are just like on their FanDuels or if they're playing shoots and ladders in the Woody Hayes or what they're doing like our recruiting guys or if they're just reading Buckeye Scoop's message board all day. But you'd think that they might want to reach out to a guy who won the Lou Gross and he's actually in the state of Ohio. You might want to come here, might want to give him a call, but just me. I don't know. Like I said, those guys got it all figured out, I guess, but maybe they don't. Sergio Salmon, thanks for the deuce. Massive poop in my pants. Yeah, it's worse than that, my dude. But I appreciate you. Couch, will they still make the playoffs though? I'm not sure about that. Yeah, there's no chance we don't make the playoffs. I mean, it's a 12 team playoff, guys, and we're gonna be, this will probably knock us down to what Nevada 8, 9, maybe 10. I mean, we're number 2 in the country today. We lose a 6-5 team by 3 points. Inexcusable, inexplicable loss, but I don't know Nevada. I mean, what are we gonna fall down to? 10, maybe at the worst. I mean,
Nah. I think we'll be six
7,
through 8.
6. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, 6.
there's
Yeah,
no way we're missing the playoffs because we're done
no,
playing. This is it. We're done playing as of
yeah.
today until no bowl game, and we'll be hosting a playoff game because we're not going to be one of the top 4 because we didn't win our conference. So we'll be somewhere between. No way we'll be 5 because I think that if Penn State and Oregon is tight, then but I don't know. Like we'll see. Um, I'm just like still shell shocked. Rick S, thank you for the 15. Appreciate you. We should have let them score after the 12-man penalty with 155 and 2 timeouts. Although as bad as the offense was, I guess it wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, I mean, I thought about that. But yeah, we still held them to a field goal. So again, like when your offense is atrocious, it doesn't really matter. But like I said, again, our defense, I don't know what else they're supposed to do. They held them to a field goal. Stopped them again, and our defense gave up 13 points. Like that's an incredible performance. And again, I know Michigan's terrible on offense, but 13 in modern football is really good. Nevada, your thoughts? Should we let them score after the 12-man penalty?
Well, the 12-man penalty was ridiculous. I don't know. I'd like to know who was responsible for that. And I know they were running guys on and off and trying to match personnel and obviously doing a pretty good job of it. But that 12-man penalty was, incredibly decisive right there. So no, I don't think I'd let them score. I think you only need a field goal that cuts a big portion of yards off, and even with your bad kicking. So no, I think they made the right decision. But I don't know how in that situation you can get a 12 man on the field penalty. That's a story for another day.
Corey Flusy, thank you for the 5. The heart trumps the talent. Need to get back to bringing in more Ohio dudes to just get it. I think there's something to that. I mean, I think that we're national and we got a lot of star rankings, but we don't have a lot of tough guys on this team. And it's apparent when we run into a tough team. And again, Michigan's not skilled. They're tough. Obviously they won in the trenches today, but I don't know. Nevada, do we need to recruit more Ohio guys in your opinion?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we just I think we've got to stop being tight in the game, and we've got to coach fearlessly. We've got to play call fearlessly, um, and we got to execute. So I don't know. I don't know, but just I mean, I love my Ohio kids. I've always been that way, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if all, if more Ohio kids had better play is the answer. A field goal kicker that makes a couple of field goals is an answer. But I do love those Ohio kids, but I'm not sure that's where I'm going.
Yeah. Shannon Boyle thanks to the Deuce. Sure doesn't feel like a playoff team after this. I mean, I agree, man. But like again, Georgia looked terrible last night. We're having our, like I said, I don't have words. Like I mean, this is one that if you wanted to bet it, I mean, you could have made a lot of money today. I mean, even like at the end of the game, it was still crazy how the odds were. But I don't know. Like I said, this is the most inexcusable loss I've seen, and like even when they announced Colson Loveland, I was like, there's just no way. There's no way we could lose this thing. But Ryan managed to lose it again. So there's no Stallions, there's no cheating, there's no nothing. This is just getting your ass kicked, So again, Ryan loves to talk about being tough. Here's the one thing I know in life. If you have to say something out loud, it's probably not true. So when Ryan constantly has to talk about toughness and we're tough and this is I mean, if it's a tough football team by just watching them. Like guys that are tough in real life, they don't have to run around and say that they're tough. So there's a little life hack for you, for the people in the Woody Hayes that have to run around and say that they're tough. Or if you have to say that you're smart or you're rich or whatever, if you have to tell people that you're that, you're not that. Period. So there's a little life hack for you guys in the Woody Hayes. NBA was better in the 80s and 90s, which I do agree. That's a great name. Vrabel has to be that guy. Go get an OC like Herman to go with Vrabel. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. We're bringing back Urbans. Thanks for your hard work on an awful day. Thank God I'm a Buckeye. That might be my favorite super chat of the entire day. Yeah, I mean, like again, these shows are something that I know that you guys need to hear just so you can hear some clarity about everything that's going on. These are not fun for Nevada and I. Nevada and I were excited. We got to see each other for the first time in a long time today, hang out. I watched the first half of the game with him and his family, and then it all went to crap. So, these shows are not fun to do, but we love you guys. So we're on here grinding along. It's weird. Nevada, your thoughts? And again, Tom Herman is, I don't want to say he's radioactive, but it's been a long, strange trip for him, man. He got fired at FAU a week or two ago. I think he was looking for an offensive coordinator job at a higher level, but him and Luke Fickell did not really get along, and Luke Fickell is Vrabel's best friend, so I don't think there's a fit there with Herman and Vrabes. Nevada, your thoughts, and also thank you for your hard work on an awful and very cold, long walk of a day.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. First of all, I appreciate the sentiments. The thank God I'm a Buckeye. Yeah, I thank God I'm a Buckeye as well. Just today just did not turn out the way that I did. Tom Herman, nice to talk about, but not going to happen. Mike Vrabel, nice to talk about, could happen. I mean, like you said, he punches a lot of boxes. Former NFL head coach, legitimate tough guy, legitimate pedigree of success. So not the craziest idea that I've ever heard for sure. I think there's some obviously some challenges with that, given recruiting and NIL and the realities of being a college coach in 2024. But yeah, and yeah, today did not. I plan on getting back from this game and watching all the other games and sitting back with my family and just soaking in all the goodness, getting on the podcast, having dinner, having a great. I mean, this is not how I planned on it being, but we're here and we're not hiding, and we came here and we're gonna do the show, and we're gonna and I'm not gonna stop cheering for the Buckeyes, but today's heartbreaking. Today is simply heartbreaking, and as I get older, you just feel robbed from having these good days because had my whole family, had my kids, everybody's there, driven in for the game, getting all ready for it, and have to deal with this is just makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, yeah, it sucked, but that's Like I said, that's why I never took it for granted when we won. I never took it for granted when we beat them. You know, I think some people did after a while because we used to beat them so frequently with Truss and then with Urban. Um, so yeah, I mean that's why like I always tell people like when I beat Michigan as a player, like greatest feeling of all time because I remember how bad it was in the '90s and how many times we lost and how many times great teams played Michigan and it ruined their seasons, and so I never took it for granted because I've been around the bad parts of the deal. Clueless, Pat Daddy, thanks for the 10. If I'm Bjork, I'm picking up the phone and calling Dillingham, Freeman, and Vrabes, although Vrabel will never come to the college ranks. I mean, I don't know if I'd hire Dillingham. The guy from Arizona State? No. Marcus? No. Not yet. Vrabes?
No.
Sure. I mean, Marcus lost to Northern Illinois like this year. So I mean, I'm good. Like I get that, and I like Marcus. I get that he's got a nice fade on his haircut and stuff, but he's not ready to coach at Ohio State. I mean, Notre Dame's not even that good. But Vrabes is the guy that everyone's gonna be screaming for now. I can tell he's the hot guy now. Tyler Bright, thanks for the deuce. Groza award winner from the backyard is in Alabama. I know. Like I said, like I even put it on the message board so that Mark Pantoni can read it because he's on our message board nonstop. So. Yeah, Maurice Clarinet, thanks for the 10. Their D line is monstrous. Respect. Kelly was awful. This genuinely ruins the season for me. I don't even care about the playoffs. You have to beat scum. Their bad season is now a success. Disgrace. Yeah, I mean, that's the worst part is, I mean, they were 6-5, man, and now they're going to feel great going into Christmas because they beat us. They beat the big bad $20 million Buckeyes. And, you know, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's almost like it's a dream. Like that we lost this game. Like we lost. They didn't have Colson Loveland or Will Johnson, and we still lost. Like, am I in some sort of parallel dimension at this point? But we're here. We scored at again. It was never the signs. We needed to be better.
Nah.
I don't agree with that. I think it was the signs.
Yeah.
You know, today it was our field goal kicker missed 2 30-yard field goals. So in a game that's 13-10, when you miss 6 points that would have won the game for you, like. Game inches. And again, it's just, you know, Jaden Fielding should just hit the portal and get out of here and go get a kicker. Like I said, like in the portal era, it's not like you're recruiting some high school kid. I mean, you can go get a kid who's an all-conference kicker, like, you know, in 2 weeks and get him here. Give him $1 million. I don't care if he hits field goals. If he's an NFL draft pick level kicker, give him $1 million. Because I mean, we'd have beat Georgia, we'd have beat these guys, but it's what it is. Monty Mitchell, thanks for the 5. But Urban is out there and should be asked this person. I mean, you can, but I just don't. I don't know. Like, I mean, I always think, I know that he says he's done and whatever, and I love Urban Meyer, but it's like, you offer that dude enough money, he's coming. Like, after the way everything went out in Jacksonville and everything else, like, I don't know. It's my opinion. Monty Mitchell, thanks for the 5. Again, I appreciate you. Nevada, your thoughts? Because it seems like it's Vrabel and Urban. Those are the two that we're going to get nonstop going forward, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, those are certainly two quality names. Obviously, lots of challenges, you know, to get in there, and yeah, I'm just. I mean, Ryan Day it's all teed up for him, man. He's 45 years old. I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm rarely at a loss for words, Kirk. You know me, man. I'll prattle on for hours, but yeah, I'm having a hard time tonight, man. This is a tough one on old Nevadabuck, I got to tell you.
I was on for 40 minutes before you even got on, and we still have another like 50 super chats to go. So trust me, this is a very tough show. I promise you. Like I mean, of all the times, again, like it's not, and like look, we don't run from anything. Like it's not like I'm scared to talk about it or I'm scared to, you know, give you guys my diagnosis. But it's just like mentally, it's just so exhausting the fact that we lost this game because again. Ryan Day had a royal flush. He's playing poker. He had a royal flush in his hand, and he figured out a way to lose. So again, it's I don't know. Like I said, I mean, their best player on offense didn't even play today. Played against Indiana, didn't play against us. and we still Indiana beat these guys. We saw the Hoosiers last week, and again, I just think that the kids thought it was going to be easy. I thought the coaches maybe did. I'm sure that they did the hype in the Michigan and with team up north and got to beat them, but I think deep down that they thought it was going to be easy to. Now, again, our defense played lights out. I don't know how many goal line stands our defense has to make, but this season they had to have broken every record ever for goal line stands at Ohio State. I've never seen a defense hold teams out of the end zone the way these guys do. Hold them to a field goal, whatever. So the offense, and again, this is part of football. Like there are times where one side is significantly better than the other, and today was one of those times where our defense was significantly better than our offense. Like they held them to 13. Like that's plenty to win, unless you peed on your leg. Survive the hunt. Thanks for the deuce. A natty means nothing. Beat the cheaters up north. Period. I think Nevada just called the cops on himself so he could get arrested, and they put him in the insane asylum at this point. But I think that I'll never agree with a natty. Like again, if someone said, Kirk, you could trade your gold pants for a national title, I do it in a heartbeat. A national championship is the ultimate trump card to me. As great as it is to beat a team, that would be like, a lot of you guys are Browns fans. That'd be like if you said, well, you can lose to the Steelers twice this season, home and away, but then you win the Super Bowl. Would you sign up for that? Everyone in the universe would say, I would sign up for the Browns winning the Super Bowl, and they would not care about if they lost to the Steelers or not in the regular season, because that's kind of what it is now. So, Nevada, your thoughts? Does a national championship mean nothing to you without beating Michigan? Your thoughts?
No, I mean that would be the only thing that could take the sting away. That could take the stench away from this game. This game's going to resonate for a long time. This is one of those games that we're going to talk about for a long time. About where were you, when this happened, and there's just no getting away from it. So the only thing you can do going forward to make it better would be to win out. Do I think this team has the stuff to do that? It's certainly questionable. I mean, is it doable? Absolutely. There's no great team in college football this year, but after a performance like that, it's really hard to be bullish about being able to run the table, 4 straight times. And but that certainly would for me, if we won the national title, everything would be worthwhile. But we're a long way away from that.
Yeah, like I said, if we won the national championship, I think people would be. I mean, everything would be deleted. I mean, people won't even remember this game. But it's just, we're. I don't know. Like I said, this is not the day that we were planning, but we're here. We're getting through it. We're grinding through it. Joe, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Who will be roaming the Southwest next year? Hard to believe it will be Day. Will this have a big impact on guys hitting the portal? Here's the thing: is like everybody wants Ryan fired. If you fire Ryan, there's gonna be a lot of guys hitting the portal. Like, I mean, guys like JJ Smith, Caleb Downs, like guys would be weighing their options to find a program that's more stable. So part of it is like when Nick Saban retired, Julian Sayin took off. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say be careful what you wish for because you guys are adults, but it could be interesting depending on if. Say, hypothetically, we fired Ryan Day tonight, and then we hired Mike Vrabel on Monday. How does that work with Julian Sayin and some of these young guys that came to play for Ryan, get developed as a quarterback, whatever? So, yeah. Spook Jr., thanks for the 10. Is all the talk of must win the rushing game universal truth against scum? I know statistically true, but I feel the coaches offensively blew today. Kudos to Jim Knowles and the defense. I mean, I don't know. Like, again, I'm like Nevada. Here's the deal. Like, I think that you need to win the rushing battle, but also the fact that, like, we kept running in the inside, in the A gaps between, the 2 guards. Like, that, we couldn't block their 2 interior guys. And I said it all week, don't run at those guys. So, you don't have to run into the A gap. Like, again, there's an old saying that my high school football coach used to always say about dumb people. Like, a guy would attack a walled city. Like, Chip Kelly and Ryan Day decided to attack a walled city today, and it looked impossibly stupid. And our guys were getting, destroyed up front by those 2 guys. And I was like, just don't run at them. Run down the edge. I said their ends aren't good. I looked at them. So, But again, Ryan, he gets it like I said, it's like he has this thing where he has to convince people that he's tough and we're tough and we're going to be the tough team. So again, there's different levels. There's regular, like we played checkers today, and they played 4D chess. And again, there's something where I don't know, like some of these coaches, it's like like Ryan has this thing in his head where he has to prove that he's tough or the team's tough or whatever. And I'm just not about that life. I'm about what's the most efficient way of moving the football. And if that's getting the ball out on the edge, getting it on jet sweeps to JJ, get it to Mecca on the edge. Like, again, I was really excited to run the edge, not to run in the A gap. But we did the opposite. We just kept handing it off and going in the A gap, getting 0 yards or 1 yard or getting stuffed. And it was stupid. But yeah, kudos to Generals. Like I said, the defense, like, it sucks that they lost because they played out of their minds again. I mean, they stopped them on the goal line twice, and I don't know. They gave up 1 touchdown, which literally was basically a pick six, and then they held them to 2 field goals. So I don't know what else our defense has to do other than just score all the points too. But at some point, this offense has got to get rolling. Maurice Clarinet, thanks for the 5. For the season to be a success, you have to win the game. Well, yeah, I don't doubt that. I mean, again, I got 6 pairs of gold pants, guys, so I know what it's like to beat Michigan and how it feels to beat Michigan. So, yeah, I mean, I think you have to beat Michigan for it to be a good season. And Nevada, your thoughts for the season? Now, again, if you win the national championship, again, this is the first time in history where we've had a chance to lose to Michigan and we could actually still win a national title. So, I don't know, Nevada. For the season to be a success, you have to win the game. Do you agree with that, Nevada?
I think 99% of the time that's true. Like,
Yeah.
and as you pointed out, rightfully, we're in a new era. We're in a 12-team playoff era. We're in a brand new ball game. And if by some unlikely event you run 4 off in a row and win the national title, has the season been a success? Undoubtedly, it's been a success. Are we a long way away from that? Undoubtedly, we're a long way away from that. So, you know, yeah, I understand the feeling though. It's hard to see any silver lining to losing today, frankly, because there is no silver lining. The only silver lining, the only reality is we're still playing. We're still in the playoff. We're still playing. We still have a chip in a chair. Other than that, there is no silver lining, and there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, like in the past, like in 2011 when we lost to Michigan, like, you know, we had to get ready to play in the Gator Bowl, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. So, we didn't have a playoff where we could still win a national championship. And again, like there's a lot of teams in Ohio State history that would have benefited greatly from this playoffs that were really good teams that slipped up versus Michigan, but I don't know. Riley McGee, thanks for the deuce. OSU shouldn't be favored until they win the game. Well, I mean, you just look at the talent discrepancy this year between Ohio State and Michigan. Not so much in Michigan. I mean, how are you gonna make them a favorite when they're 6-5? They lost to Indiana, they lost to Texas, and lost to all these other teams. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, you got to figure it out. I mean, Jim Tressel figured it out. Jim Tressel's the GOAT. I mean, he was 10-1 versus those guys. Urban was 7-0, and I mean, and honestly, like I don't know. So the building thanks for the 10. When we kicked the first field goal from the 8, I knew right there we clamp ourselves up in this game better than any staff I've ever seen play to win. Nevada, your thoughts? I mean, I thought I was fine with them kicking that field goal early in the game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it did feel tight. The play calling. I mean, there were several times where we just kind of surrendered. We'd have 3rd and 5 or 6, and we just ran up the middle, ran a draw, and then punted. That certainly doesn't give off the aura of I have confidence in our offense. We're playing to win. I mean, and we were clearly spooked, and whether it was we were spooked that Will was going to turn it over, or that we were going to get. I don't know, and I understand that Will threw a absolutely horrific pick. Essentially, it's a pick six. You can't throw that ball. I don't know why he threw that ball. He threw that ball, and was that the game? Is a big part of it. So maybe that kind of. But I didn't feel like the play calling today was playing to go for the juggler. not throw caution to the wind and let's go win the game. I think they were playing. They were definitely tight. Ryan, it felt tight. It felt tight watching the game, and then you ultimately lose a tight game. And so, what can you say?
Yeah, and the big fat left tackle, Kane Proctor from Alabama, just gave up a sack fumble in the Iron Bowl. So that was a guy we didn't get, but he looks terrible. Clueless Pat thanks to 5 days losing his job because of Fry. Well, Justin might not have a job because the thing I know about Ryan is when we lose to Michigan, he always has to fire somebody, and he's running out of people to fire that aren't named Ryan. So, I mean, will it cost Justin his job? Good. I don't know. But he fired Kerry Combs. He fired Stud. He's fired a ton of guys after this game. So, someone's probably going to get a bullet. Gabe Gaines next to the 5. I hope Ryan Day's next job is at Michigan. That way he turns them soft. Jeez, God, me. I mean, oh, that'd be absolutely hilarious. I mean, we're softer than we were under Urban. There's no doubt about it. Because the guys, they don't work as hard. The players don't work as hard. The coaches don't work as hard because that's the culture now, which is fine. I mean, that's what Ryan wants to do. He's the chief Indian, so he gets to do what he wants to do. Pure Own 401, thanks for the 5. This is just the stupidest thing. Let's just keep running up the middle as if Floyd have changed the play. I mean, that's what I said. I couldn't believe we kept going back to it. And I mean, when I got home, Nevada, in the third or fourth quarter when they did it again, like the boos were like deafening on the TV. So I can't imagine a lot of it was in the stadium when we ran it up the middle. I think it was on like third and medium or third and long. It was pretty loud. Jimmy Craig links to the deuce. Will reminded me of Kyle McCord in this game. Yeah, wasn't his best. Threw it to the wrong team, and yeah, it was not his Heisman moment that we were hoping for. Shaz and Strickland next to the deuce. Can you coach the O-line again? Shake my head. Well, they know about the Michigan game. And I know one thing. If I designed the running game, I would not be running up the middle versus 55. There's just no way. Chocolate Chip Scoochie, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Would they honestly ever get fired in fear of losing guys in the transfer portal? That's my biggest thing is like if you fire Ryan and then you fire Brian Hartline too, in all likelihood, I mean, are you going to lose JJ and Caleb Downs, all these other guys? Probably. Nevada, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, there's definitely always going to be a reaction. If you replace your head coach, whether it be with your recruiting class, with existing guys, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to. If you do it, you better have your guy ready to put in there because every day that goes by where there's uncertainty about who you're going to bring in to replace them, everybody's going to be poaching your players. So if you do decide to make a move, you better be decisive and you better have your other guy lined up, ready to roll, ready to announce within 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever it is, because uncertainty is what kills you in this situation.
Yeah, it's brutal. Buck Nasty, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you, and thanks for offering as well. If Day cannot beat Michigan with this roster, he has to go. Make the Buckeyes great again. Yeah. All right, like I said, I don't think he's ever going to have a bigger talent gap ever between two rosters as he did today. So I honestly don't know what else you need because this is as good as he's ever going to get. So yeah, it's but we still got the playoffs. Again, it's not over. Maurice Clarinet, thanks for the 5. We have now put up 84 points over 4 years since Day said we'd hang 100. Will Day ever get there? We need someone new. Yeah, that was kind of a kind of weird how everything changed on that slogan. David Grant, thanks for the 10. 4th and 1 with 5 minutes left, and we punt to lose the game. Worst offensive play calling I've seen. Spread them out and screen them. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I mean, look, we ran that I don't know what I call it, that play that we where we just kind of influenced the defensive end and option him with Quinshon
Yeah.
and Will and just they pitched it. We ran that play one time today. I think Quinshon got 20 yards on it or whatever it was. I don't know why we didn't do that more. I don't. I would have been attacking the edge. I would have. I think on 4th and short, I think you spread them out and you run zone read and you go fast. And I think it's almost impossible to stop in that situation. But when we went fast today, we had great success. and then we'd stop. We'd run 2 or 3 plays in a row, fast tempo. And you and I turned, like, tempo, we're going. And then all of a sudden, nope, slow it down. Let's look back. Let's do the thing. And so, yeah, I mean, it would have taken big time cojones to go for it 4th and 1 in that situation. But, sometimes I asked you, what would Dan Campbell for the Lions have done? Dan Campbell would have gone for it. I probably would have gone for it, and but we didn't, and we lost, and that's where we're at.
Maurice Clarinet, thanks for the 5. Nevada said it many times, the only way Day is gone is if he loses to this crappy scum team. Well, now he lost. Wasted so much talent, he has to go. Followed up by another deuce. Appreciate you, Maurice Clarinet. 4 in a row, unbelievable. Agree with you there. St. Pete Buck, thank you for the 10. I don't understand why the staff can't realize how bad we're at zone blocking. Who has the game plan coming into this game to run at Michigan's best position group? Day just sounds stupid. I mean, I'm not a fan of, running at their best. I mean, because again, their ends were bad, but we didn't attack them. Again, you got to figure out what's the weak point of the defense. It's not the three technique. M55 owned us today. Tommy Tom, thanks for the deuce. Who cares about a home playoff? We lost. Well, I mean, it's just a fact now. We're going to have a home playoff game this year. I'm going to be there. I think it's going to be awesome. So I'm going to get excited for that. I'll figure out a way to do it. I'm going to mourn tonight and then get ready to go tomorrow. Michael C., thanks for the 5. John Cooper 2.0. Nothing else to say. Ryan Day, you are fired. Go Bucks. Yeah, there's a lot of people wanting to fire Ryan today. So I'm sure he's going to be sleeping great tonight. Bobby Mack, thank you for the deuce. Our longest pass was 17 yards. Well, I mean, like Nevada said, they were playing too high. They're trying to keep everything in front of us, but they basically dared us to run the ball on them, and we couldn't do it because our inside guys weren't good today. So that's what it really came down to. Monty Mitchell, thanks for the 5. After that performance, what have we done that says this team can't win a title? Ryan just put on film how to get beat. Well, yeah, we played our worst game of the season. We played terribly. So, you can't count on always playing your worst game of the season in a playoff. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to figure out a way to get excited for this. And I still think we have a shot to win it. Now, I might be crazy at this point, but, we played our worst game of the season. The worst game in many seasons, I think. So it is what it is. Efdras, great. Thanks for the 5. Can Buckeye Scoop host a contest to have Buckeye Scoopers kick 35 to 40-yard field goals to see if they're able to make them at proceeds go to charities? Yeah, I mean, honestly, you guys could go in the backyard, just video it, and we'll post it on here and judge you guys. But literally 10 minutes before we missed our 30-yard kick, we literally had a fan come on the field and make a 35-yard field goal. And he got like one of those big giant checks, and he's like, yeah. And then we got, and our scholarship guy misses a field goal. So, I don't know. But yeah, send me the videos or tag Buckeye Scoop in YouTube or whatever, or on Instagram, whatever, and we'll post them on there. If you guys hit 35 yarders, we'll send them to Ryan. Maurice Clarinet, thanks for the 10. I can't take the cheating stuff seriously for all these wins. We had 2 chances last year and this year to prove it. We didn't. I don't want to hear about it again. I want to win the game. Well, so do we. Trust me. Nevada would have driven 20 hours in the car yesterday to get here to not win the game.
through an ice storm.
Yeah. Chevy Chase, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, driving across the country in an ice storm. He wasn't coming here to watch a 6-5 Michigan team take us to the woodshed. Chris, thanks for the 20, my man. Thanks for the show every day. Well, I will tell you that we are earning our money today because, man, we are tired and sad. We're sad pandas right now. I just don't get it with the quick sideline passes. I know they're trying to get the ball to players in space, but it's utterly a 90% failure rate. We've done it all year long. Yeah, I mean, I wish we could take some more shots downfield, but I know exactly what you're saying about the lack of efficiency. Survived the hunt next to the deuce. IGB played very well today. The D was outstanding. Yeah, our defense was nasty today, I thought. They deserve better than they got. Scott Sewell, thanks for the deuce. If you have a question, toss it in the chat and I'll try to find it for you. Ranjit Suri, my man, I hope you're doing good, my friend. What did the coaches say to recruits who attended the game today who didn't after a poor performance like this? Nevada OH. Probably the most miserable part of this is that there's actually kids on visits and on official visits right now, and you have to deal with hosting them and going out to dinner and all the like. So, yeah, that is it's a nightmare, a literal nightmare. You have kids that are here and they're doing whatever, but it's what it is. So. Nevada, your thoughts? How do you talk to recruits after losing this game? It's not gonna be a fun talk. I know that.
Yeah, I think you say, hey, we need lots of help, as you can see after today. No, look, I thought the defense played great. I thought this was a good calling card for our we play defense at a really, really, really high level. And offensively, we just soiled ourselves today, and Will was not good. And we need better. We need to be way better at that position. And offensively on the offensive line, most offensive lines would struggle. And it wasn't even two stars; it was two All-American and the guy that replaced the All-American. So we're down 3 starters in the offensive line, but no excuses. Got your butts kicked. Got to do the thing. But what I say, yeah, we need players. Come help us and come help us right this wrong and beat Michigan in the future.
I talked too loud. Thanks for the 5. Ryan needs to quit and take the whole staff with him. I know for himself saying our OC is a genius. What he's ever won, Ryan is just like him. Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of questions going on right now. JG, thanks for the 5. We need to fire Day and hire Urban for the playoffs only. Can't waste this roster. I don't know if that's gonna work. Because Urban doesn't know any of the guys, but yeah, that's an interesting thought. Luke Fleming, thank you for the deuce. Who could we hire if Day is truly gone? I don't know. Like Vrabel, Urban Meyer, Matt Campbell. I don't know. PJ Fleck. I have no idea, guys. There's somebody out there.
PJ Fleck.
I mean, PJ's. I mean, if we're gonna throw Vrabel out there, might as well put PJ Fleck coach here before too. So it's like, let's throw every coach ever out there because I don't know who it would be. And PJ was here in 06, so. I mean, he beat Luke yesterday, so everyone wants Luke or Vrabel, and it's like, well, I don't know. Nevada, did you think that the Will Howard hit was targeting?
I couldn't. We didn't get any replay. I couldn't see the replay. I think a bird built a nest on our telephone or our TV thing, and I think that's why we're not getting things or something like that. But I couldn't tell. I mean. People have to tell me. They have to look at it, and I just couldn't see it, and with a sufficient enough angle to really have a judgment on it.
Yeah. BP11, thank you for the 5. The next coach may not be Vrabel, but he needs to be cut from that same coin, square jaw. Let's go get in a fist fight. Oh, I agree. I mean, I think we need toughness, but it has to be legitimate. It can't be the fake stuff. 5-star pups, thank you for the 5. What's crazy is our odds to win the national championship probably won't go down after this game. Well, like Nevada said, like we got to buy now, so we don't have to play Oregon, and we'll probably have our bodies feel a little bit better. But I don't know, man. Like I don't think they'll be affected that bad because we're still gonna be in the deal, and we might actually have an easier path, which is crazy. Jared Henniger, thanks for the 10. I don't think there's a better option than Day for the NRA, but after Day, I don't think he's capable of winning this game, so he can't say. Do you think Vrabel could be an option if Day is fired? I don't know. I mean, if Ryan... Well, here's the thing. If Ryan left, would they call Mike Vrabel? Yeah, I think they would. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know if he'd be interested in coaching college. You got to understand, Vrabel's already a millionaire from his NFL days, so he doesn't... Him, placating to... Johnny 18-year-old football guy isn't going to be in the cards very often with him because he's not. I worked with Mike. He did not like recruiting. Now I'm not saying he's not good at recruiting because again, Mike Vrabel is a really sharp dude. He's a very funny guy. He hated recruiting. I mean, I was on staff with him, so I don't know if that changes, but that's the lifeblood of a coach is recruiting. Drew does with the plot for thanks for the 5. Go Bucks, overly conservative play calling, but it's not time to fire Coach Day. Again, go Bucks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like this was a bad one, Nevada. Everybody wants Ryan Day fired, but this is not a good day today. Our 11 not giving up on the season though, but this year is more important than the run in the playoffs. Well, it's over now, so you got to flush it down the toilet, and everyone's going to be in mourning. But these guys literally still have a chance to win a national title, which has never happened in the history of Ohio State football. So they got to figure out a way to get their minds right for when we play in like 8 months now. David Reisner, thanks for the 5. Emotions are understandably high now, but if the Buckeyes win the Natty, the same folks calling for Randy's head will change the tune. Of course. That's how it works in the big city. People love you until they don't. Josh Dillon, thank you for the 50. I'm at a loss on what to do to beat Michigan 4 years in a row, losing to them. If I had told my younger self that we would lose 4 straight times to that team at North, I would have told my future self to lay off the weed. Man, I miss Urban and Truss. Well, between those guys, they lost 1 time in 17, 18 years. So, yeah, I miss Urban and Truss there. I miss the good old days. Bobby Mack, thank you for the 5. Will we lose recruits because of today's performance, or will Sanders come because he has a legit chance to start next year? I don't think that losing or winning the Michigan game has an impact on recruiting, honestly. I mean, Michigan's terrible. They're 6-5, 7-5 now, but I don't think it's going to affect their recruiting at all. Ben Lycombe, thanks for the 5. I never want to hear y'all complain about signs again. You guys lost so much with your team with 2 starting walk-ons and with no Loveland. Sorry as can be. Yeah, I mean, there's no defending it. We don't defend it. We've been nothing but honest out here. Bob Myers, thanks for the 10. Not kidding. Coach Kenny Dillingham, smartest guy out here. Nevada, your thoughts on Ken Dillingham, who's Arizona State's coach?
I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean,
It's Ohio State, man. You think you can hire somebody than some 32-year-old or however old it is? I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean,
No.
dude, who knows? But man, it's so bad because now we've got to stare down the potential firing your coach, and we've talked about it many times. Be careful what you wish for, because when you start changing coaches, you can slide into the abyss, and you can go to the life cycle of every other team in college football that's gone through this. And we've been able to avoid it up until this point. And now, I'm mad at Ryan Day for putting us in this position, because you just can't lose this game. You just can't. So I don't know what to say.
Mike Green, thanks for the 5. Appreciate you, my man. Thanks for being on here all the time. With a new coach, how can we keep our roster? JJ Caleb, this loss feels like our team will be blown up. Well, I think that you just got to keep the pieces in place and keep the roster in place. Because, again, if you get rid of Ryan, you're going to have 50 guys under the portal, and it's not going to be good. Jesse Hensley, thanks for the 5. Urban, if interested, Heartline, Vrabel interested, or Freeman. Pick one as your head coach. Lanning behind as a long shot. I don't think we're getting Dan Lanning. I like Dan Lanning a lot. I don't think we're getting him. I'd pick Urban. I'd throw $25 million at Urban. Get him back out here, because Urban, nobody got. I mean, the only guy, Truss got it, Woody got it, Urban got it. They were Ohio guys. They got the rivalry in a big way. Buckeye 1, thank you for the deuce. O-line and team was let down by the play calling. I couldn't agree more. I thought the play calling was atrocious. And I'm not the guy that just blindly criticizes Chip. I thought he was terrible today. Anthony Wilson, thanks for the 5. Hope you're good, brother. If I was Ohio State, I would give him a blank check right now. Why wait? Day chucks and folds in big games. We're not calling on any run. Yeah, I'd do whatever you could do to get Urban at this point. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, he's gotten older, but Urban Meyer with infinite NIL money would be terrifying, and a transfer portal, ultra terrifying. Coach Billy Taylor, hope you're good, my friend. Thanks for the 5. Day and Kelly are cut from the same cloth. If you're going to run it, give me a fullback, 2-back counters, and traps. Kelly's overrated as a play caller. Yeah, I mean, I liked some of the 2-back stuff we did earlier in the year, where you could play whoever is not the ball carrier as a fullback type guy, a lead blocking type guy. And our guys were really good at doing that, cutting guys on the edge. So I wouldn't be opposed to it. It's just hard to find fullbacks anymore because there aren't many fullbacks that play high school football. So you got to kind of mold somebody into being a fullback. Deion Jackson, what's up, brother? Thank you for the 10, and thank you for being an Ultra member as well. Everybody wants to blame the kicker and play caller, but the two interceptions, one set Michigan up for their only TD, and the other one when they were about to score. Yeah, I mean, you can't turn the ball over, especially when it's the tight red zone or it's But their guy turned over. I mean, their guy threw one to Jack Sawyer, and I mean that was even, but it just you can't turn it over in a game like this. But I totally agree with you, Dion. And again, I appreciate you, my dude. Thanks for having a good night. Thanks for being on here as well. Gabe Gaines, thanks for the 5. Last one. This game reminds me a lot of Bears vs. Packers. Sorry, Nevada. Your team has tortured me forever. Nevada, did this remind you of the Bears and the Packers? Probably not.
No, because the Packers won.
Yes, the Packers win all the time, and you're a Packers fan.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was just, but yeah, it was poor coaching. Chicago fired their coach in midseason for the first time in the history of the franchise. So they're obviously going a different way. I think for them, they don't have to deal with the transfer portal, recruiting, things like that. So you can get rid of your coach and you don't lose your roster. So yeah, that's the big difference between the pros and college.
Lance Hall, thanks for the 5. OSU has conceded the power game to develop QBs and receivers, build a retractable roof, and call it the shoebox for inclement weather games. I don't want to go there because everyone will kill me, but I would love a dome. But that's me. I'm soft. I don't care. But again, I don't know. Thanks for the 5. NBA fan, appreciate you, man. What do you mean not yet? Ryan Day was a failed QB coach before he got on the roster. What pedigree did Day have to coach OSU that Freeman doesn't? Well, I mean, maybe it's not that. Maybe I prefer an offensive coach. So I know our offense was terrible today, but I don't know. How do you lose to a walk-on with 2 interceptions? It's a bad day for the old Bucks today. Mike Gibson, thank you for the 5. Tough guy Rande is the Jeb Bush of college football. Just clean house. Oh God, I've heard Ryan called a lot of things. I've never heard him called Jeb Bush before, but that is, when you really think about it, that is pretty funny. Stanley Bradley, thanks for the 5. I just don't see the offense kicking, scratching, and giving a chance, especially the line. Why couldn't we even snap the ball like normal today? I don't know. I mean, I don't think our guys are taught to finish on the O-line, like in terms of just finishing blocks. And our combination blocks are usually terrible, which is our double team. So that kills our running game. Brady Lang, thanks for the 5. Hire Dion. You can laugh it out, but in other words, losing this guy for 4 years in a row. Ryan Day is done. I don't know if Coach Prime's going to help us, but Nevada, would you hire Deion Sanders as our next coach?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you asked me that a month ago, I would have laughed it off. But no, I mean, he markets his players. He gets guys in the portal. He's turned Colorado around. Do I want him as the head coach of Ohio State? Not particularly, but boy, you cannot lose to that Michigan team with this Ohio State team. You just can't. No, you just can't. And so I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Our kicker. It's hilarious. Joe, thank you for the 5 for super fan. According to the rules analysts on TV, they called the 12-minute penalty because we tried to call consecutive timeouts. Yes. Again, Ryan at the end of the game was impossible. He was Eberflus 2.0, where he was trying to call a second straight timeout, which you're not allowed to do. And they ended up calling a 12-man penalty. So, again, he was trying to burn a timeout that he was allowed to do. So, again, I mean, but again, Ryan has 800 coaches on his coaching staff. He has all these analysts and these support staff guys. And there should be somebody helping him and telling him, hey, coach, like, we've got 12, or hey, whatever. Like, I mean, so he was going to call 2 straight timeouts, dude. And it's like, you know, and the clock was not our friend at that point. The game was, under 2 minutes. And if you call 2 timeouts in a row and they could run it down to 1 second and kick a field goal, which they might have been able to do if they got a first down, then it's not good. Dave Mathis, thanks for the 10. Horrible play calling on offense today. This was my first game of the shoe, and to end like this is horrible. Love the experience. Now we wait till Tuesday's reveal. Forever. OH Nevada.
Well,
hopefully you go to the playoff game because that'll be fun too. The career guy, thanks for the deuce. Who else could realistically replace Day? I don't know, man. I mean, I've named Vrabel, Urban. We did this. We've done this. The funny thing about this Michigan thing is, since we've lost them 4 years in a row, we've done this like the last 4 years where we try to figure out who's going to replace him. It's always Vrabel. It used to be Fickle, but they stink now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. J Wash Trucking LLC, thank you for being an ultra member, and thank you for the 5. Why don't anybody mention Luke Fickle with NIL on transfer portal? I think he'll be ready for the job. Well, Luke's going to win at Wisconsin, and I love Luke Fickle. He's a great Buckeye, great person, but he hasn't been good at Wisconsin. So it's hard. They lost to Alabama 50-10. They got annihilated by Alabama, and Alabama's not even good. So I don't think Luke's the answer. But again, and he's already had a crack at it. And he went 6-7. It was the worst year in Ohio State history. So he's got that hanging over his head. T-Shay 1977, thanks for not from thanks for the 5. Love watching you guys, and I do love Rondé, but I think he got his feet wet and needs to go try another place and progress there. I want Urban back. Well, I don't know what I would do if we got Urban back. I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but if it did happen, I would cry for like a week straight, just tears of joy. But I don't think it's ever gonna happen. So I think he's done and makes a couple $1 million a year to work for Fox and have zero stress, don't have to worry about a transfer portal, and work 2 days a week. So pretty good life for the old herbs. Tim Humphrey, thanks for the 5. What recruits were at the game? The Science Olympics is over. We lost them. We lost the last 2 without them cheating. RD sucks. And versus the team of North and Highway Games. There were a ton of recruits there. Most of the 5 stars, a lot of official visits. There's a ton of get on BuckeyeScoop.com. We have a full list of everybody that was at the game. Keith Minton, thank you for the 5. What about Brian Kelly as head coach? Oh God, no. Jesus. I hope that Ryan Days the grass is greener to look at Alabama. I don't think Brian Kelly is a fit, and he's been a disaster at LSU this year. So Nevada, any thoughts on Brian Kelly?
Oh God. It's like
that's the point where we're at right now. Is we're at the Brian Kelly point.
Yeah, Brian Kelly's just a notch below Marcus Freeman, and neither one of those are serious things. But please no.
Corey Flusy, thanks for the deuce. Would love to see an SEC team up here in a few weeks. It's always been our fantasy, folks, and we might have it. So again, everyone else be sad. Like we might be hosting some SEC school in the Horseshoe, and hopefully it snows. It'd be amazing. B-Man, thanks for the deuce. We don't care about the best. We're already there. Okay. We're going to make the playoffs. We'll be okay. Dread Greaves, thanks for the 5. If Ryan gets fired with OSU, look at FCS coaches. I would doubt it. Also, all of our best coaches come from Ohio, in my opinion. Woody Hayes, Urban Meyer, Jim Trussell, all from YSU. I agree. I think there's something to that. Chocolate Chip Scoochie, thanks for the deuce. What about the SMU coach? I don't know, because I don't think they're going to move on Ryan, so I think it's kind of a moot point to talk about it. But I'd look at him. Good.
You don't think they're going to move on Ryan?
Like this year?
Yeah.
I mean, I would be shocked if we fired Ryan this year. But again, it depends on the playoffs. Depends on the playoffs.
Assume we go 1 and out or 2 and out in the playoffs. Don't make a deep run.
So you're saying that we lose in the Horseshoe in the first round of the playoffs,
or win in the Horseshoe, losing the quarterfinals.
How's the loss at the quarterfinals though? 1 point loss or 50-point blowout or
no?
I'm not trying to kill you.
No, I got you.
If we lose by 1 last second to Oregon because we're the 8 seed and we play the 1 seed. That's different than if we lose by 65 to Boise State, in the Cotton Bowl or whatever it would be. So again, I'm not trying to be stupid or smart aleck, but it's just like so you lose
28-17 in the quarterfinals.
I mean, if you can get Urban out of that Fox booth and giddy up, cowboy, But I mean, Urban got the rivalry. So again, people want to get rid of that Meyer guy, but I miss being 7-0 against Michigan. But that Meyer guy, I had to get rid of that Meyer guy. The 3rd highest winning percentage in the history of the school. Monty Mitchell, thanks for the 5. What's the likelihood Vrabel or Urban came back and changed into the staff? But the coordinators, most of them know this rivalry. Well, I mean, I don't know if Chip would stay. I don't know who would stay. I mean, I'm sure Mickey Marotti would stay. I'm sure Pantoni would stay. Volt, those guys, the Urban Meyer guys. But I don't know. Yeah. Mike Middleman, thanks for the 279. I've never seen that before, but thank you. Offense was bad because Will Hard was concussed to 2026. Yeah, I think he was dinged pretty good, but he played. I give him a lot of credit for it. He went back out there, but didn't really do that great. Jim Jackson, thanks for the 5. Hope you're good, brother. Only coach I'd even consider replacing him is Dan Lanning, and he won't leave Oregon. Go Bucks. Yes, we can. I think Dan Lanning, that's the guy, like if you said, Kirk, we had to get Dan Lanning. Young, energetic. I don't like that he's a defensive guy, but, he beat us this year. So, if you got into my head, you said you had to fire Ryan Day and hire somebody and go after somebody, I'd go for Dan Lanning for sure. John Howland, thanks for the deuce. Lane Kiffin to OSU, your thoughts?
Oh, let's go. Let's
go, baby. Because where Lane is, Layla follows. So let's ride.
I like Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin.
I love Lane Kiffin. He's gotten sober. He's a different cat now. He still chokes it up versus teams like Ryan did today. But he won the Egg Bowl last night. He beat his rival, and I think he's an offensive genius. And he's been through a lot. I mean, he was like a 30-year-old coach in the NFL for Al Davis and the Raiders, and got left on the tarmac at USC. But I mean, he's turned Ole Miss into a juggernaut. So. And he's kind of a weirdo, but I'd love to get Lane Kiffin. Tommy V, thanks for the 5. Do you think Kevin Wilson would make a good replacement? I mean, not as a head coach, but if they wanted him as like an analyst, I think it'd be okay. But I think Wilson, they should add him to the staff for the playoffs still, regardless, and try to get these guys going. Really, he should in a dream world to make him the tight ends coach. But I don't know if it's going to happen. Francis Plum, next to the deuce. Thanks for staying online. We need this. Love you guys. I'm tired and this is exhausting, but we are buzzing through this thing. And again, we'll do a big film breakdown tomorrow. Keith Milton, thanks for the deuce. What about Chip Kelly, Nevada OH? I just don't think he'd do that to Ryan. I mean, him and Ryan are best friends, so I don't think he'd stab him in the back and steal his job, but this is my opinion. What about you, Nevada? Chip Kelly for the next head coach?
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think that the personal dynamic, he just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, if they fired Ryan, Chip would be the first guy to leave and resign. He's not going to stay. He'd be out of there in a lickety-split heartbeat. All right, Nevada. We are through 127 super chats. So I love you guys. You guys are the absolute best. And we've also gone for 2.5 hours. Nevada, any final thoughts as we wrap this thing up?
Well, you can say a lot of things about Kirk and Nevadabuck, but we're not hiding.
No, yeah. No, I will say for the first 40 minutes, Nevada was hiding. He was scared of you guys. He was hiding under a rock because he was scared. Big scaredy cat.
Big.
How was the walk? Was it not bad?
Well, the problem is one of my kids had twisted his ankle really bad at the Packers game, and so his ankle swole up. Yeah, and so we was like, leave no man behind. We're trying to drag him back to the thing. So, it was tough, but we soldiered through because we knew that you were going to be on the front lines going after this. But
I'm taking artillery fire for the first hour of the show, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm going to do the percentage. If this is a 2.5 hour show, so that first 45 minutes, I get the percentage of it where I'm just getting Ryan and Nevada's hiding.
I got to be honest with you, Nevada's not doing so well tonight because this one's hard. This one's hard on me, man. Like this is bad. I mean, it just feels bad. I just feel bad for everybody involved, and I feel bad for myself. So bad.
We got 3 more super chats during our closing ceremonies. Erwin Lichtenberg, thanks for the 10. Chip Kelly's offense is antiquated. He should retire immediately. Well, it didn't feel antiquated until today when he was partying like it was, Ryan Day last year. And I know chocolate chip Scoochie. What does a home playoff game do? Come on. Well, I think it'll be cool. I mean, you guys might all hate it, but I'm going to be there. I'll be cheering for the boys. So I think it's going to be amazing to have a home playoff game in the Horseshoe. It'll be the first one in the history of the school. So I'm going to be there, and I will bet a lot of you guys are going to be watching. So I'm excited about it. So go Bucks. Brandon Miller. Ryan Day was asked about not passing more. He says, we have to have balance. If it isn't working, adapt, but Ryan Day won't. Nevada, in life, do you need to have balance or no?
No, I think you got to do what's working. Win's the surest way. I think they were trying to force the square peg into the round hole, and I do believe Will was concussed. I really do. I mean, he just looked off. Felt that's not an excuse. That's just an observation. I really feel he was concussed, and I don't think he was seeing the field well, and he picked a bad day to have a bad day, and it cost us.
I think he was concussed. And this isn't a politics for, but like I was at the stadium, I was watching, I was looking down when he went to the medical tent. He walked out of the medical tent and they held his helmet. Like, he did not have his helmet. So the trainer was holding his helmet, and I was like, he's done. He's not playing. They took his helmet from him. And then 5-6 minutes later, he starts running sprints up and down the sideline, and the place goes crazy, and they hand him a helmet, they put him in. But I don't know how that hit doesn't concuss him as bad as Marvin Harrison's hit when he got knocked out of the Georgia game. Because again, I saw it in real time, and it was a vicious hit. I don't think it was malicious by Michigan, but because again, it's hard to tackle a quarterback when he changes his level, he has to drop his shoulder and run you over, and all of a sudden you run into his head. Like, I didn't think it was dirty. But again, what do I know? All right, Nevada, we're done. Anything else to say? Wrap it up quick.
No, I'm going to go hide and thanks for taking the arrows for the first 40 minutes.
Gonna go take a nap is what I'm gonna do. I can't wait.
I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm gonna take a nap because I'm gonna take a nap and pretend I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be 0-0 and we'll be at the game. And
yes,
oh
exactly.
God. So yeah, all right. Let's wrap this thing up again. Love you guys to death. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for being a part of BuckeyeScoop.com and the Scoop family. I just appreciate you guys so much. Again, great night tonight. On the show. Terrible day for the Buckeyes, but we got a home playoff game, so we're gonna see how it goes. And it was a brutal day. I feel bad for the seniors. I feel bad for Buckeye Nation, but hey, it's time to get up and go because these guys can still win a national title. Which sounds crazy, but hey, I've seen crazier stuff happen. So we'll let it go. If you guys enjoy our content, please leave us a like. Click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. Again, if you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and also Spotify, that is huge for us. Again, we're trying to grow those formats as best we can. So love you guys to death. We'll get through this. And we're going to have a home playoff game in the shoe. So that's going to be awesome. One more opportunity to tailgate this year to watch this team and send them out the right way. So I'm excited about it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. We will break some film down then. Appreciate you guys so very much. You guys have a great night. Go Bucks.